Salve, povo, tudo bem com vocês? Mais uma vez, estamos aqui fazendo essa live com o pessoal internacional dos grandes canais que falam de shmups aqui. E essa live, como vocês podem imaginar, nós temos aqui convidados o Bog Hog, Shmup Junkie, e o Mark, do Electric Underground, e o PV também, que vai estar falando em inglês, apesar de ter falado português hoje, olha só como ele é espertinho. E ele vai, a gente vai fazer, óbvio, essa live em inglês. Então, ativem a legenda em português, tá bom? So, welcome guys. This is starting to become a tradition, I guess, like we did it last year. We're here again to say what are our thoughts about the year 2023, not just about shmups, but in the video game scene in general. So I guess most of you guys don't need introduction. Shmup Junkie joined us in the last minute. So, well, welcome.
Dragged him in.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
He dragged himself. Like I thought like he was like, okay, he's busy. He cannot join us, but hey, I'm glad he did.
He messaged me a while ago, and I just didn't get a chance to respond, and I just randomly happened to respond today, and he was like, "Oh, we're doing it in 2 hours." Like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm free. Let's do it."
It would be better if he didn't even tell you, just like showed up.
No, come on. We have to respect people that did collaborators. Like we've been collaborating with each other's channel for a long time. So he deserved the respect. So we did Paulo or PV, as you want, participated on the chat we did yesterday about streaming. We did about kind of the same theme. It was more a loose conversation about these themes, but today we're going for something a little bit more structured. We have several topics here I'd like to cover, and I'd like to know your opinion, of course, if in case you have some, or in case you don't have time, because like guys, for me at least, was a pretty busy year. I didn't have time to play the things I wanted the way I wanted. I guess probably the same for you guys. And sometimes you don't have an opinion about it, so it's totally fine. So first topic I'd like to know about is, what do you think is the best original, not a remake or reprint or whatever, best original vertical shmup? Who wants to go first?
Does anyone have a list of candidates? Because it feels like this year's releases were so slim.
There's one.
We all might be like the same game.
Well, I might as well mention it because I only played one. I think I only played a single one, which is Eigengrau, which is I don't know if anyone knows how it's even spelled, but it's a kind of an experimental WarioWare type of shmup, very similar to Zero Ranger. Basically, it's like you have 4 directions which you can shoot in, and it builds on that with various different gimmicks. So you have like different walls. Each screen is separated into a wave. And they're very different. They're like mini puzzles. So, for example, there's a type of mini boss enemy who kind of slams on your location. It like aims at you and slams on the ground, and it makes you jump. And you can use those jumps to jump over laser walls in the game.
I think I saw this game. I didn't play it, but I remember this name.
Spell this?
Yeah, I think so.
Eigengrau. Okay,
is that the one that has like the orange aesthetic? Like a lot of the graphics have like an orange, like look.
Oh, no,
I remember seeing video of it.
Not quite.
This is Zero Ranger, I guess.
It's been it's okay.
It looked
Mark,
like Zero Ranger, but it wasn't Zero Ranger.
Yeah, not only that, but it was shouted out by the Zero Ranger developers. They really liked it. Let me send this to Mark.
Okay, I think I see it.
Can't remember this one. I definitely, I think I added it to a Drops episode, but didn't play it. I didn't even know it was out already.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I see it.
Well, to add another name to the mix, I played a lot of Gray's Counter GM, so the updated version. So it's pretty fun, despite not having a rotated screen version mode. So it was kind of disappointing to play a TATE game that you can only play horizontally with nice stuff going on the sides. But yeah, that's pretty much the shmup I mostly played this year. That's, let's say, a 2023 release. That's, let's say, brand new, although it's kind of January 18, so it's almost 1 year old by now. But yeah, otherwise, that was a year that I would say there were a lot more re-release than new release being made. So yeah, they're fantastic re-release, but new games, I feel it was a little bit less than 2022. Still good numbers, but not as much as last year.
The Toho is slowly taking over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't. Yeah, soon no games will be able to be rotated.
There was a lot of re-releases this year that I remember. Like I remember seeing just lots and lots of older games coming out that I was really happy to see come out. But like as far as brand new indie games, like it does seem it's like it's been a little bit lighter. Like so much good stuff came out right at the end of 2022, like right there at the end that it didn't like. And now we're like we have all this new stuff that's about to come out, but it's not quite there.
Yeah.
And, I was on a podcast, another one. Podcast Inception here. Shoot the Corecast, and they had this like news segment, and we're going through like the new releases, and there's all of them were like little NES things, like NES Shmup. So the year of the NES Shmup, I think was this year, because they kept saying like, oh, this NES Shmup, this NES Shmup. So all these 8-bit like NES style shmups I think came out this year, which aren't really my thing, but
well, there was a new Terror In game, I believe.
Yeah, Terraflame came out this year.
Two new Terror In games.
Wait, Mark, didn't you play Terraflame?
But wait, we're on the vertical section.
Oh, that's right. Okay, no,
yeah.
Spoilers. Okay,
they didn't invent in the NES times. Vertical had not been invented.
True. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I was just kidding.
Okay. Well, my entry is quite obvious because, like, I'm talking about this game for a while now, which is Gunna Blade. I totally love the game. I think it has a good balance between it's not like a very demanding game. Like you don't have to memorize crazy patterns and do all crazy stuff in terms of controls, and there's no crazy weapon system. It's pretty much bare bones in terms of shmups. And like Mark said, like it's a NES shmup, or I would say probably more a PC Engine shmup than a NES shmup, because I don't think a NES could handle all that amount of things on the screen at the same time, but probably needed a PC Engine. But anyway, I like the aesthetics. I like the gameplay. I don't know. I think in terms of vertical shmup, Gunna Blade is my pick for 2023. Of course, I played a lot of Grace Counter as well, but I guess Grace Counter came out, the first Grace Counter came out on 2022, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
I guess the GM came out in 2023.
GM was January 18 this year. Yep.
Okay. Oh, right in the beginning of the year. Okay.
Right in the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I didn't know. But anyway, I also played a lot of Grace Counter GM. I love the game, but I don't know. There's something about compile on Gunna Blade that, push my buttons. So,
well, you get a lot of bullet hells, but you don't get too many compile style games nowadays. So, it's a very nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I like that even the music compositions like remind you of compile. Like it definitely looks like a compile game not made by compile.
Yeah, I really like Gunna Blade too. That's what I was a little bit afraid of, that we'd all say Gunna Blade, because it's like, is there anything really challenging it? I was going to say Toho 19, but I think that even the Toho players are like,
Zun's cooking too hard, dude. Zun is
drinking too much, and
he's out of control.
I finally managed to play a Toho game this year. I played Imperishable Night. I'm not sure which one is this on the list, but
8 or 9.
It's the 8th one.
8. Yeah.
8th one, yeah. Like almost 20 years late, but yeah. At least I played it.
I played it. I like it. It's not my cup of tea, at least for now, because there's, I think, a lot to learn about the game. But it plays totally different from a regular bullet hell that I'm used to. But I like it. It's fucking hard, but I like it.
There's an updated version that Tohomaku Kasai 2. So it's a remake made in China, so that's the one that also made its way to X Arcadia. So they have updated high resolution graphics for the game, but still sound is about minimal as the original one, and sound the music they did rearrange then. But yeah, it's pretty much the same Toho game. But if you play Danmaku Fantastic Festival, that's Tohomaku Kasai. The second one is exactly Toho 8.
Yeah, you see, even the Toho games are made in China now. China is dominating the market.
Yeah,
all markets.
And none of them have TATE.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I don't get why no one has ported the Toho games to like PS4 or Xbox or like Switch or something. I don't know what the licensing thing is with that because I know Toho, Zun's pretty open about that sort of stuff. So I'm just surprised at this point we haven't seen them released on like a console or something, considering how popular they are.
Well, and it's funny because all the spin-offs, they are on consoles. You can play Toho Bubble Burst on the Switch. You can play all the strategy games, the fighting games, the Metroidvania games, but not the original.
Zun has the clause, don't really shmups on consoles in the agreement.
Well, we have Shikondo, which is pretty much like a Toho not made by Zun.
Yeah, but that game sucks big time.
I like Toho, but I don't like Shikondo.
Shikondo's
That's okay.
bad. Yeah, its crappiness reaches through the years.
I just played it. I didn't like form a proper opinion about it. Just like played it and okay, that's fine. But it totally remind me. No, it totally remind me of like, oh, this is a Toho game for consoles.
I remember on release on Switch and on PC. The PC port was straight up broken, as in like you couldn't like rebind things correctly. It didn't run. It was just busted. So I was like, fine, I'll play it on the Switch. The Switch port was broken because it was like way zoomed out, even on a Switch. So it's like, let me get the magnifying glass to play.
The bullets in that game are so small; they're like little dots.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, it has like kind of some cool visuals and everything, but everything else.
Yeah. It has hot demon girls. That's about it. That's what I'll say.
Hot demon girls, I can respect that, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, that's as much as you can get out from the game.
Hot demon girls sell, bullets don't sell. That's why.
That is true. Yeah, you can have.
You can't see them, definitely.
Well, notes to devs: hot demon girls sell, bullets don't sell.
That's why the bullets are tiny little dots. They don't want to obscure the demon girls.
Are they even smaller than like in Last Hope? They were that small.
Yeah,
I don't think they were supposed to be that small because on the PC version, but on the original Switch port, maybe they patched at this point. I mean, it was microscopic because it was zoomed out. It was ridiculous.
Maybe you can start a new genre like boobs and bullets, something like that.
Dude, that's like half Steam shmups. Yeah, that's like a deep space waifu.
Yes,
and they sell like exponentially more than any proper shmup. It's so sad.
Someone is probably already milking this cow. I bet.
You know what your next shmup is right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to work on that.
Revenge or something.
Work on that.
So,
waifu.
Who else? I think Junkie didn't.
Yeah, I don't think I've gone yet. So what I'll do for this one, because I haven't played any really well, I'm gonna cheat. I definitely want to say that Ghana Blade was on my list, and I really, really want to play it because I'm a big fan of compile style games. So I'm kind of bummed that I haven't had a chance to play Ghana Blade yet because I've heard so many good things about it. And I know if Felipe likes it, I'll probably like it too, because we both like Rude Breaker and a lot of similar games that they made. But I'm going to cheat because even though it's a game that's not out yet, it's a game that I've been playing because I'm testing it.
Hey, it's got
so it's not really out yet. And honestly, I can't say it's because I haven't played a lot of Best Vertical games. I don't know if it's going to end up being a really good game, but and that game is Signy that's coming out next year by Konami.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about this game.
Yeah, so because a lot of people are giving the game hell because of what it looks like in early videos and things like that. But from what I've played so far, and I haven't played anywhere near the totality of the game, we're just talking about like a couple levels, 2 or 3 stages and portions of it, is that it has a lot more potential than people are giving it credit for. They don't know like the full story of it. I've had a chance to actually sit and meet with the developers, and just kind of give them my feedback and talk to them. They don't realize that it's not a Konami game. This is a small independent studio that started working on this before Konami even kind of took over and started funding it.
They're from Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Up here.
So they're very passionate about the game. Like I said, it's basically a passion project. They're putting a ton of time and effort into it. And there's a lot more to the game than people are seeing right now. But when they actually get a chance to get their hands on it and play it, it's definitely not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be like if you're a traditional shmup player and you're looking for a bullet hell, that's not your kind of game. It's a twin stick shooter. It's not based around dodging as much as it is about resource management. But just visuals aside, because obviously everybody looks and says, oh my God, it looks amazing. But there's a lot more depth to the gameplay and a lot that they're putting into the game that people don't see yet, or they won't see until they play it. So at some point when the game does come out, it'll divide a lot of players. Some players will be like, it's not my type of game. It's really, I can see how it's cool, but it's not my type of game. And there's other people that will really dig it and really love it. But nobody, once they play it, will be able to say this game is weak, or this game like was phoned in, or it was done quickly or cheaply. Like there's so much that's being put into it that they were like, hey, at the worst, I think many of us might say, I liked it. I didn't love it because of ABC, but it's definitely not, what I expected it to be. It's not a cash in. It's a very deep game with a lot of scoring mechanics and a lot of gameplay mechanics and variety. And there's just a lot they're putting into it. So that's, for me, because I haven't gotten a chance to play a lot of new games this year, at least the most intriguing potential, game for next year, because it's going to divide players, but at the same time, it's going to be a lot more than some people are giving it credit for yet and expecting. And I'm not the only one testing it. They've brought in other like pretty experienced shmup players to play that game too and test it, to give them a lot of feedback, and they're taking it all very seriously and trying to make the best game they can. So it's not going to be a disaster. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, that's nice to know, because like I've been seeing this game on the media for quite a long time now, and I don't know what to think about it. I just see the graphics and think, oh, there's a lot of production value in this thing, because like people were like definitely spending a ton of money on it. But how does it play? I don't know. So
yeah, and that's the thing. I'm being really careful because I'm not allowed to talk about it. So I'm not allowed to talk about details and mechanics.
Fair enough.
Say I really like it because it does this, and it does this, and it does that. Like I can't say it. All I can say is what I did say, which is it's a passion project by like a really dedicated team. So they're putting a lot into it. And whether ends up being your kind of game or not, it's got a lot more depth to like the gameplay that they're putting into it, and a lot more variety than people are expecting, or might be surprised by when it actually comes out.
And it's funny that you mentioned, Shmup Junkie, that the visuals, because I've been following some groups, especially in France, that people, they are kind of expecting, let's say, what is a next gen shmup looks like. So that Signy is the only one that really looks like a shmup that requires I don't know, a PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 4, a new Xbox. So that is not only something that you can run on a 2010 PC that, okay, you just do for a PlayStation 4 because that's what's out there for sale. But that's something that definitely needs that kind of hardware to push the boundaries. So it's kind of funny that we like those games because they are 2D, they have like simple visuals, but there are some people looking for that next gen feeling, and I feel like that Signy may bring this to the table so that other games are not bringing so that recently.
Well, yeah, almost to an unrealistic level, because it's like, the graphics are so, flashy and visually impressive that it's going to be hard for like any, lower budget or even mid-tier budget shmup to measure up. Like, this is like AAA studio level of like visual quality. That's just hard to match. But there is more to it than that. So I said, if you're into a resource management style, like heavy type of game, where you're managing your shields and your firepower and like your ground shot and your base shot, and there's all this variety, and like you really have to manage everything throughout a level because the levels are long. So, and there's more to it than that, but without getting into too much detail, like I said, whether it's your type of game or not, because it's not just aimed at shmup players. Their whole goal in the beginning was, we also want this to appeal to a broad audience. We want this to appeal to people who are playing, what some people consider Euro shmups online. Like, then they're not bad games. Like I'm trying to think of a couple, like
that's some people's mean.
Like a lot of people love Skyforce Reloaded. I haven't played it much, but some people are like, oh, I love that game. So they want it to appeal to everyone. They want to try to straddle that. So I see what they're trying to do. But yeah, without going too far into it, like I've spent enough time on it. Like I said, I'm at least very intrigued by what I've played so far, and I'm looking forward to like seeing how it all comes together in the end because of how much there is to what they're putting into it.
Yeah. But if it's a twin stick shooter, this is something that's interesting. If it's a twin stick shooter, I mean, is that really, do we really put it in the shmup category in the same sense of like a Ghana Blade or something like that? Because there's a lot of really bitchin' twin stick shooters. Sure. And twin stick shooters are a very marketable genre, very marketable. So it's like, you know, like Hot Mine Miami. I mean, that game's sick. That game's a twin stick shooter, you know.
Mark, I like this game.
I think it's because it kind of it looks and plays like a shmup in a lot of ways. So the good example would be Extra Galactic. I don't know if any of you have played Extra Galactic before. That's actually a pretty cool game, and it's done really well. And it even has one of the only games I've ever played that has inertia that works. It has way more inertia than Signy, which looks like it has inertia, but it doesn't really, not much. But it's a twin stick in that sense, but it still feels like you're playing a shmup. So that's kind of why I put it in that category, because Extra Galactica I would also consider a shmup, very much so, even though it is a twin stick, asteroid style like type of game. Because if it's not a shmup, what the hell else is it? It's definitely not a run and gun. So it's kind of that in between, like it's a twin stick, but it looks and plays like a shmup in that way, in that sense. But because it's a twin stick, it can't be overly focused on precision dodging because that's not the purpose of it.
Makes sense. Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind when I saw Signy was I just figured out it was another studio, the different studio done apart from Konami later. But the first thing I saw was like, man, we need a Gradius with this graphics. But then I said, it's not Konami.
That's the other thing that's exciting. I mean, because it is being supported by Konami now, it would be to everyone's benefit that the game did really well, because if it did, you know, that tells Konami, hey, you know, Shmup, this did really well. Maybe we should put money. Maybe we should make a Gradius. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe there's money in that. I don't know, but I would like to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so for the second topic, what do you think is the best original horizontal shmup of 2023?
I think me and
I'm gonna cheat and steal Boghog's answer before he can talk.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!
Did I win?
Wait, what? What did you just say?
Terraflame? Is that it?
No, Universe. What do you mean?
Okay. I'm not
Universe.
I know.
Universe.
You kind of put me onto Universe, so I'll give you Universe, and I'll.
There we go. Yeah, I'm the origin point of Universe.
Yeah, Mark just did Universe in your video. I remember.
Yeah, I'm the Big Bang, baby. I'm the Big Bang.
Bob was messaging me about that. I was like, oh, that looks sick. So
yeah, I had to convince Mark.
Yeah, Universe is game.
Yeah, it's like a Gradius fan game, which emphasizes like the chaotic aspect of Gradius, where you just have enemies
shoot backwards.
Yes, baby. it's like Gradius 5, except it's instant. So you don't have you immediately shoot backwards with your options, and the levels are designed for it. So it's like the enemies come from all sides. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of like overlapping elements. It's crazy. Like the enemy count is like bullet hell levels. Instead of the bullets, you have that many enemies just coming from every angle, and it's so chaotic and fun. But to compensate, they made it a lot more forgiving. So, for example, your hitbox is small, not like bullet hell levels. Yeah, I bet Mark likes that. But also, you have more iframes when you lose the shield, so it doesn't like instantly just get destroyed.
They also remove Gradius syndrome, right? There's no more.
Yeah. You instantly respawn. Yeah, you instantly respawn.
Get your stuff. It's like if I sat down and said all the things I want to change in Gradius, the guy's like, "I got you, fam." That's Universe, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just
sick.
Yeah, and it's just so interactive and chaotic. Just stuff happening everywhere at all times. Just the pacing is great. It's fairly short. You know, it's not Gradius 5. That's for sure. It's pretty difficult, and it's just
I think it's really cool too that it's like a legit, what do you call it, like fan game ROM hack, because you know a lot of shmups, you know, commercially that's not a good idea, but I feel like I don't know, it's cool because like you get all these Super Metroid ROM hacks, you get all these Super Mario Bros ROM hacks, but you never get that with shmups too often. So I think getting like a legit Gradius fan game, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's free, and you can get it. I don't know, you can get it if you look around. Yeah, look up something like Universe Gradius1cc on YouTube. There should be like a nice video with a link.
There's also
I cannot find his game
recommendations. If you do my Steam 20 recommendations, I have the link in the description of that.
Yeah. Okay. Just type in Universe Gradius1cc on YouTube. You'll see a video, and there's going to be a link in the description somewhere.
Yep. That's like one of the few games that I actually did know about. Like, and I, checked out this year because it was Gradius, and I'd seen it and heard about it somewhere, maybe on Twitter, and I was like, damn, that looks really good.
I will shout out one game that I haven't yet played, but that looks really cool. It's Nanoforce, whatever. It's like a horizontal surgery themed shmup where you go through like a lot of surgery themed levels. Like a wide variety of weapons. It looks really cool.
I played this one.
Oh, how'd you like it?
I like it. It has some. I think it requires some work to improve and become like the game it deserves to be, but it's not bad at all.
All right, maybe. Well, I believe the developer is still actively working on it, so it's definitely worth checking out.
I played it quite a long time ago, so I don't remember what I didn't like about it yet. But in general, it's good. Yeah, you're right.
All right.
It was made in the Steam, one of these new engines, right?
Shmup Creator, yeah.
Shmup Creator.
But that is a bit of a problem because I believe porting to like Switch and stuff and consoles is basically impossible, unfortunately.
Yeah. This year, speaking of Shmup Creator, I thought, you know what? The Japanese guys are doing it, and coding is a pain in the butt. So I'm gonna try working in Shmup Creator a little bit.
STG Builder. No. Mark, you're mixing them up. Yeah.
Okay, STG Builder. That's right. STG Builder. And I lasted for a day. That thing, I was like, oh my God.
Defeated.
It is not plug and play, my friends. I honestly feel like Game Maker is easier to use than STG Builder. Maybe that's just me, but I was like, I'm going back to Game Maker. I can't do this.
Yeah, defeated.
Yeah, not to mention the Game Maker can put your game on Steam as well.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Game Maker's like how people, developers like, dude, ports aren't just like press the export to Switch. That's not the process. But Game Maker is literally that.
Thank you, Game Maker.
Yeah, you just press the export to Switch button, your game is on Switch.
Okay, so we have Mark with Universe, Boghog with
Universe.
Universe too.
Mine's terrible.
We're both going.
Mine's terrible.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
All right. What about you, Paulo and Junkie?
I'm going to be the oddball here because I didn't play a lot of YOKO shmups this year. So the one that I played that caught my attention in the end was Cycle Chaser Age 5, the one that I made the review for Shmups BR. So it's a very small indie game, like one guy that did the game as his final project for his computer science and design with a major in the guy was making a major in design with a minor in computer science, and he made a game, a shmup that reminds a lot Thunder Force, and he mixed that with Gradius and also a bit of Darius, and then it came up this game, and the soundtrack for the game is awesome. He used the Furnace tracker that used the same chip as the Genesis, the Mega Drive, and the game is awesome to play. So it's not on the hard side, it's a bit on the easy side, I would say, but it's a very fun game to play and very inexpensive. So that was my pick for the horizontal shmup. Like I said, it's kind of an oddball because it's not a big game. I think that most people don't even know about it, but which is a bit sad because it deserves a little bit more of a spotlight. Of course, the game needs a lot more polishing to be up to the level of other game designers that are putting a few more people to work on the game. But for a project did by just one person, well, that's kind of impressive. So I wanted to see that the guy was doing something with more people, because he would make something very good if he had the support of more people to develop the game.
Cool. Yeah, I remember this one. This was an indie that came out, and Paulo say, "Hey, you want to do the review for this?" I say, "Yeah, okay, go for it." And he did. He ended up liking it a lot. I remember this game.
I remember that I played like all difficulty levels and everything, so it was pretty much fun.
Yeah, this is pretty rare. Playing all the difficulty levels. All right. Junkie, you want to go or I go first?
I'll go real quick because I don't have too much to contribute because again I didn't get to play a lot of new games. I knew that either Mark or Boghog were going to say Universe most likely, and
downloaded.
If I had to pick just one because I haven't played too many new ones this year, that's definitely impressive, and I would pick that. But as a backup, I would probably go with Terraflame because it's a solid game. Everything he releases is always like that. But it's the first horizontal he's done, and he did pretty much just as good a job with it that he did with his vertical games as he did with Moondancer. If anything, it's a little bit more on the challenging side, because his other games were good entry-level games. Terraflame can be, especially if you play it on hard, definitely will give you more of a challenge. But it definitely feels like playing, Thunder Force, and he did his job trying to copy the mechanics, and he did it pretty well. It's like if you've played like Thunder Force 3, you know what to expect, and it had just the right amount of challenge, and I had fun with it. That's one of the very few new, as opposed to older like horizontal games I got to play this year.
Terran's breaking his shackles.
Yeah, and let's shout out. It's not a horizontal, but I just remembered it. I haven't played it because I can't sit through puzzles and shit for enough to figure out how to do it. But there is a mini shmup inside of Void Stranger. I was watching Jamers' video on it. It looks pretty awesome to be honest.
It does look awesome.
I gotta get like a save file to get to it or something. But
what's the name of the game?
Void Stranger by the Zero Ranger developers.
Oh,
there's a shmup tucked away somewhere in there.
Yeah. Oh, I think I saw Jamers. I think I saw Jamers playing, but I didn't figure out what was it. So
I know. I think he's being
he's being cryptic, trying to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But it looks really cool.
It looks awesome.
It kind of breaks my heart a little bit because it's like, yes, please, Zero Ranger devs, please just give us another shmup, please.
Yeah, don't torture Mark's brain.
Don't torture the puzzles. Don't make me sit through puzzles to play your shmup, please.
Oh, it's about the same as wanting to play a new giraffe game, and then you figure out that there's a new shmup that's inside the Eurokill, which is a visual novel game.
Oh my god!
Though Void Stranger's puzzles are a lot more fun than something like Instant Brain. And remember, Instant Brain had the Donanpachi ported inside.
I don't. Didn't know that.
That's a visual Cave made, and then they put
he just wiped it from his mind. He's like, I want to forget, Mark. Let me forget.
Yes, never forget.
Well, my pick is, I would say, quite divisive in terms of opinions because some people don't
than me
the game. Probably. Well, I like Valfari's Mechatarian. It's I quite like the game. It's a departure from the run and gun team, and but man, it's awesome. I really like what I see there. I really like what I play there. I did a full run on the game streaming, and it just makes you come back for more. And the production value in the game in terms of graphics and music and whatever is it's absurd. Like the amount of love they invested in this game is amazing. And some things I can say I like about it, and sometimes some things I can say I don't quite like. But between the likes and dislikes, the likes beats the dislikes by far. And it's not, I have to say that because some people are thinking, oh, it's a shmup. It is, but it's not an arcade shmup. It's not something. It's not some. No, what I say is, you're not going to. It's not. It's not. You're not going to once see it, because like you can. No, you can. You can basically play it forever. Like it doesn't count lives.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It's if you played Valfaris, you know what I'm talking about. The game is about telling a story, and the game is quite long. I guess it's like 3 hours long or something like that.
Ouch.
Yeah, the game is long, and you have save points. You can shut down the console and come play next day and continue from where you stopped. So it's quite long. There's a ton of hidden things, a ton of Easter eggs you can chase and try to find all the secrets the game has. Like it's a it's a massive egg hunt. And the but what I like about it is actually the production. The game looks like a PS1 game with steroids. You know, the aesthetics of the PS1 games, like the kind of warped.
PS1 is coming back, dude. It's so good. Yeah, the wobbling vertices.
You know the kind of, you see the textures, but they are kind of warped, but in high res.
Right.
And but in high res, so it definitely looks like a PS1 game with all the aesthetics of a PS1 game, but with steroids. And
how do you spell this game?
I remember playing the demo of it, but I didn't know the full game came out yet.
I can't. Vol
VALF.
No, I pasted here on the shot.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it officially out? Because I thought it was just a demo. I remember playing
November 21.
Yes, I just played it. And it's what I like about it is the fact that it kind of plays off like Lords of Thunder.
Yeah, the sword.
You have a melee weapon. It's not automatic. It's like you have to press the button to activate a melee weapon. But you can do tricks with the melee weapon. You can hit forwards and backwards. You can switch to a different melee weapon. There are secret.
The video can actually cancel a bullet with the weapon.
You can go Jedi and kill the bullets.
I remember seeing this.
It's cool, man. It's such a cool game. I had a blast playing it. And I'm totally biased in terms of soundtrack because it's made by I forgot the name of the guy from Celtic Frost. So it's quality metal, and the visuals are amazing. Like every scenario, every time I challenge you to pause the game and not see something that should be on a metal album cover, because it's beautiful. The game itself is beautiful. It's the difficulty. It's not that easy, I would say. It's something you will probably gonna beat like the standard difficulty. You're probably gonna beat like on the second or third try. Second, or you if you like invest some time to it. There are harder modes, but the ride itself, the storytelling, it's good. And it's I don't know, man. I had a lot of fun, and I would play it again just for like to be able to play a shmup and listen to good music at the same time without having to switch between apps. And so
and I find it fun because I'm looking at the video and the camera, it plays around a bit like Einhander on the PS1. So that it will do like say slightly tilt the back so that you have like a more dramatic view sometimes of the game.
It's not very frequent. This doesn't happen too often, but it do. Sometimes it does place, and the
so they don't play that as much as Einhander did in the past.
No. It's definitely a side scroller.
Omega 5 on the Xbox a little bit.
I think Omega 5 has a more aggressive camera. This game is just like they just pick like some moments they switch the camera a little bit to change to add some drama to the.
It does remind me of Lords of Thunder. Looking at it,
it does. They definitely. I bet. I have to ask this to the devs because they send me the key, and I have a good relationship with them. I have to ask them if they were influenced by Lords of Thunder, because like metal and a flying guy with a sword. Come on.
Yeah, there's no way they weren't influenced by Lords of Thunder.
No, come on.
Yeah, even you can tell by some of the options. I'm watching the trailer. Some of the options have like that Lords of Thunder spinning around you type of thing going on.
Yeah. While Konami don't give us a new Lords of Thunder, I guess Valfaris Mechatarian do the job and do it well. So that's my pick. Like I mentioned, you're not going to try to 1cc or whatever. It doesn't count lives. It doesn't go crazy in terms of bullet patterns or whatever, but the game is fun. And it's beautiful.
Will this dethrone Super Punch Patrol, Mark?
Absolutely not. That game is too legendary to be dethroned by Lords of Thunder.
Okay, so I think we covered the horizontal. Okay, let's go for the next topic. What is your best original on-rails shooter?
I got one.
Or like I like calling, and people hate me for that, on Rayu's Shmup. Every time I say this, a hardcore fan like have a heart attack. So like just killed someone.
See, this is my glasses adjustment, anime moment, because I know I'm being a hipster here, because there's a caravan game that was made for a game jam called Stardust Sinner. It was made for, I believe, the Toho Jam, and it's a very Stardust Sinner. It's by Crow's Nest. You can look it up on it.
Sinners in the title. Hell
yeah, itch.io. And what it is, it's like a very extremely fast-paced caravan rail shooter where you aim with the mouse or I think
that looks cool.
A stick. Yeah, and it's extremely fast-paced. It's ridiculously fast-paced. It lives up to the caravan spirit. You basically just shoot down a ton of enemies coming in really quickly. You use these kind of like charge attacks to clear out waves. It has a pretty in-depth scoring system, and it's really addictive to play. It's absurdly fast-paced.
What's the name of the game again?
Stardust Sinner. Look it up on itch.io. It's free.
How long does it last?
Oh, very short. It's a caravan game. So I want people to pester the developer into making full games, because he's like a caravan guy, I know.
I played this game.
Yeah.
Caravan guys are like writers, but they just write short stories all the time, and you're like, all right, can we get a book at some point here? Like, come on.
Yeah, they're like drifters, At least like make a caravan compilation, like have 5 caravan stages.
How about you? Okay, how about this? You take 5 caravans, okay, and then you like make them increasingly difficult, and then you put them in order into
that is crazy
game, and then you release it.
No one has done this.
This is wild idea.
Crazy.
Okay, so Mark, what's your pick?
Well, this is my glasses adjusting moment, because I have top secret insider information on a very important and promising rail shooter, perhaps one of the best rail shooters being made. And I have lovingly dubbed it "Penguin Must Die." That's the working title. That's the alpha front.
Penguins Must Die.
He's solidifying it.
And what it is if you tune into Bog Hog's dev streams, it's this rail shooter he's making that looks amazing. It looks, and I love how it's using like Mega Man. No, what is it? Yeah. What's the game you're using?
Mega Man's. Yeah. It's a mix of. Yeah, I'm using like placeholder sprites from Mega Man, and Mark's so into it. He wants the game made more than me at this point.
Yeah, that's my 2024 release of the year. If it comes out in 2024. I'm so excited for it.
Just let me just a highlight to the audience. Don't Google for Penguins Must Die. It's horrifying.
Yeah, that's not the name.
No. Don't do that.
It has no name. You just have to go to Bog Hog's dev streams. And
I see.
Exactly.
Between us arguing and talking about video essays, it's in there somewhere.
Yeah. In between the arguing.
I just want to wash my eyes now. But anyway. Nah, don't Google for Penguins Must Die. Don't.
Come on, man.
Gonna ruin your day.
You're making me curious.
No, don't do that.
I call it that because one of the big sprites is a giant fat penguin. That's really cute.
All right, who wants to go next?
Well, I don't really have one, so I can just go next because so few rail shooters came out this year that I barely know of any. I know that Air Twister came out recently, and I've seen reviews for it, but I haven't played it. And
but hold on, Junkie. But hold on, isn't Signy a bit of a rail shooter if you think about it? If you really think about it.
Well, maybe if I think about it, but I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't consider it that.
I don't get it.
Twin stick, right? It's like Sin and Punishment too. If it's a twin stick.
Yeah, because I mean, just you can say any shmup is a rail shooter in the sense that it's moving in a single direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like I've seen Missile Dancer 2 coming out that looks interesting that Terrorin is working on, and but I can't think of anything else that I've played this year that would be considered really like at least a first person, like what you would normally consider like that type of rail shooter.
It needs a Z-axis. I think that's the key there.
I feel like there's probably something good going on the VR side of things, but I never checked
possibly,
out. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, my rail shooter of the year, besides Penguin Must Die, was I got a Steam Deck and I was playing Sin and Punishment on it. And that's an experience for you.
You got probably the only one here that never played this game.
Me neither.
Oh,
guys, you got to fix that. This should be your 2023 shooter. Go play it right now.
But it's on a Nintendo 64.
No. The second one is on the Wii.
It's called emulation, my friend. You don't
Yeah, but even emulation, I'm afraid I'm installing Nintendo 64 emulation, and my computer, the antivirus will block it. But no, you don't want to do that.
But hold on, Sin Punishment 2 is on the Wii.
What are you talking about? Aren't you in Brazil? Aren't you guys like all about emulation? You all play Fightcade and you guys are the emulation
People
kings.
don't like the N64
He abandoned that
as
life
much in
once he
Brazil.
moved.
That's the point.
Yeah, once he's a YouTuber. What emulation? What are you
What
talking
is that?
about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, we emulate, but we emulate good stuff, not Nintendo 64. Come on, I don't like this.
Oh, damn.
Oh, I see. So Treasure aren't good enough for you. Is that what
But
you're
hold on,
saying?
Philippe. But
No.
hold on, Philippe. How about the Wii? Because the second one is on the Wii, and the second one is awesome.
Yeah, on the Wii could be. And the Wii, I guess the
really
fact
better.
that you're using the Duo controller there, it's fun. But like I don't know.
the
Just
Nintendo 60.
just pretend it's on PS1 as you're playing it. You emulate it, rename it to like PS1 emulator on your desktop.
Yeah, can you like disable filtering?
Treasure secret game nobody played and play it. Yeah. No, actually, I'm picking you guys. Of course, I play anything that's interesting, but like I'm a bit too lazy to explore the N64 library because of reasons.
Well, it's the only one you got to do. It's the only one.
Yeah, it's the only game.
That sounds good. Sounds fair enough. Sounds like a plan for 2024. And well, Junkie, you mentioned you didn't play Air Twister yet.
No, I haven't. I mean,
Okay.
I know of it. I watched some reviews of it. I just haven't played it yet.
Did any of you guys have played it or?
Nope.
I'm to play it tomorrow. I got the disc from Japan, so probably it's going to be the best new rail shmup I'm going to play in 2023. So I'd have to do it. So, but that's it. Mostly looking forward to Asura the Striker next year. But for 2023, I would say that even if Air Twister is good, I would say that for an Apple-funded game from Yu Suzuki, expect a little bit more.
Yeah. I played it a lot this year. It will end up being my pick for 2023 as well because it's the game.
There's not much more anyway.
No, and actually, I was expecting for Asura the Striker to be released this year because this one I definitely like it. But Air Twister is not bad. It has some problems, not massive problems, but it's not bad at all. Like it's a good game.
There's some good ones coming up next year.
It looks like a modernized sort of
Space Harrier, right?
Space Harrier, yeah. And I'm not a big Space Harrier guy, so
yeah, same. The whole the thing is though, in Air Twister, I believe you tag enemies, right? You don't like shoot them directly. So it's a little bit better, right? Because in Space Harrier, you have to like hover over the enemies to shoot them.
Actually, you can do both. If you press the button, you shoot straight. If you hold the button and move the reticle on the enemies, you lock the enemies, and then when you release, they get hit by a homing shot. But the game the production value is good. They have it has like good graphics. The soundtrack strongest point is also the weakest point. It's way too how can I say? No, the soundtrack is good. They found a band that definitely sounds like Queen and a guy that sings pretty much like Freddie Mercury. And if you hear it, you say, "Oh, it could be a Queen album, a new Queen album." But the problem is, man, after the game is quite long, and after you play it for like a couple of hours, it's like listening to a CD on repeat on shuffle. Boy. You see, so the songs are good, but they overflow your brain with information of you. So you see that it's like listening to one of those pop radios that only play the same songs every now and then, and
there are two,
yeah, but it's good. The game itself is good. The soundtrack is a little bit hit and miss, and depending on the the soundtrack is nice, but sometimes you get tired of the soundtrack. It's the same way you like the soundtrack. You say, "Oh, this is very well produced." You get tired of it. No, man, this song again is the third time on the same run. So
There are two rail shooters that I'm kind of interested in that are coming out next year, I believe, which is Mirage Feathers on Steam and Asura the Striker.
Yeah, Asura the Striker is the one I'm looking
Asura
for.
the Striker is the one that I'm looking for.
Yeah, that one looks cool. Have you guys seen Mirage Feathers though?
No,
I didn't. Let me check it out.
Yeah, Mirage Feathers.
It's incredible because we think we know a lot about shmups, but when we come to a streaming like that.
Okay, so Mirage Feathers starts with cute girls in the thumbnail.
It's Toho, but a rail shooter basically, or something like that. But
oh yeah,
it does
this is definitely Paulus alley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is this the developer who did
Grace Counter? Oh no.
No, Oyasumi Workshop. It's their only game on Steam.
Yeah, they're new, I suppose. Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of has that Grace Counter look to it a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it look like the color, the environments are really good. There's some videos as well, I believe, on Twitter.
Yeah, it looks like a Space Harrier and Afterburner on steroids.
Yeah.
It's exactly that old 80s look, but with high def and more frames. So yeah, that's something to look into.
That's pretty much what we're doing with our game, but that's fine. Looks like we're not that wrong on this our direction.
So what's the other one? Azure Strike.
Do you have cute girls in your game or not?
Azura the Striker.
Of course.
Oh my gosh! Why
Azura is it's Japanese, I believe. So they can't. They can't have like a normal name. They're gonna be fancy.
There's that one game, Azure Striker. So.
Oh no! This is Asura, like
Striker.
I posted on the chat here.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's a fantastic Space Harrier clone. I played the demo. I guess the demo has 4 stages or 5 stages, something like that. Man,
so that's an arcade game, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like a little bit of like a Guilty Gear look to it. A little bit. It's not full on Guilty Gear, but like it's got a little bit. That's cool.
It's cel shaded. It's very good.
The demo itself is amazing. Like I like the fact that people definitely made like a nice demo that give you a good idea of what you're gonna play.
I mean, it sounds like you only need the demo at this point. 5 stages, perfect. Yeah.
I mean, the idea is I like that it's fast paced. What I didn't like when I was looking at Air Twisters, it just looked kind of like it kind of moved along kind of slowly. It's like the whole reason you play Space Harrier or Afterburner is because of the speed and pace of the game, and it's not always fair, and some of the deaths are cheap, but that's just how the game is. So like when I see Asura Striker, like that's the first thing that's like stands out to me is like it looks like a space, like it plays like Space Harrier would. It plays at a certain speed that people that want to play that kind of game are looking for, or at least that I'm looking for. Yeah, so Air Twister kind of looked like it was like I didn't feel like I wanted to play it because it just felt like the levels developed too slowly, and it was more almost like Panzer Dragoon, except Panzer Dragoon can be good because with Panzer Dragoon you have the mechanic of looking around you and shooting in different directions, so you're doing a lot. But when you're only looking forward and everything's moving so slow, it just kind of, I don't know, and it's a rail shooter like that. It's a little limited.
What I feel about Air Twister is they made a game to be played like 100 times. You have lots of things to unlock because it's not an in-game shop like you buy it in between the runs. You don't play, like you don't enter a shop and play things while you're playing, but you go in and you unlock things with points you get by playing the game. And the problem is like most of the things are useless. So there's like one weapon here and there that makes a difference, one item here and there that changes the playability a little bit, but most of the time like you're just playing you're just playing the collision. It's like you're just unlocking everything to see what's next. The game is kind of slow paced. Depending on the stage, it's quite boring, quite slow.
Air Twister, why I didn't end up reviewing it, because I looked at it and I was like, this looks like a mini game of like another game. And like,
oh God, Kamiya's mini game, dude.
Yeah, it really looks like you're playing, probably Shenmue 4 or whatever, and like a mini game in Shenmue 4 is Air Twister. That's what it kind of looks like.
That's originally an iPhone game.
Yeah, it was.
So that's the problem. You're supposed to play in 5-10 minutes and wrap it up and play again next day.
Yeah, it started as a mobile game, and like they added physical controllers and ported it to console. But like people love playing it on the Switch without the Joy-Cons, so finger on the screen and that's it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I wonder why all these developers are going off like Space Harrier. Is that like the best rail shooter formula? Because because it always to me feels a little bit awkward how you have to use your character as a cursor. Kind of blocks your aim, and because the aim doesn't move independently, there's no like dynamics with how you move the aiming. So I don't know. I don't know why they're so obsessed with Space Harrier in particular. Well, besides Yu Suzuki, he's a he has a passion to that.
I guess it's because of the game's popularity. Like it was massively popular in the 80s. So
yeah,
I don't know. My favorite rail shmups is Res, but Res played totally different from the new one. So the most recent one.
And Res is mostly like a rhythm game instead of shmup as well.
I wouldn't say that. There's nothing about rhythm on the.
The right way to play it is a rhythm game. It's not as a shmup.
Man, I have probably 400 hours in Res. Like rhythm doesn't make a change. No, rhythm doesn't make a change in this game. Like if you follow the rhythm or not, it doesn't do much for the game.
But then that's not fun. You're just shooting things.
No, but
it sounds like you play some Sin and Punishment, my friend. You're playing Res for 400 hours, and you're yet to play Sin and Punishment. What's wrong with you?
Res sounds better.
Shooting isn't fun. Shooting isn't fun. And Shmup's BR on the Shmup's BR's podcast. Shooting isn't fun. How dare you?
Yeah, shooting is fun.
Just shooting isn't fun. Shooting with style is funnier.
Wait, can you not move in Res?
Yes, you can.
You can.
Oh, yeah. Then it's not just shooting; it's shooting and dodging, I suppose.
No, actually, you don't dodge. You have to shoot the enemy's shots.
But then why would you move?
You move to see more things on the screen. There's some enemies that appear on off screen, and so you have to chase them to get all the secrets, all the unlockables.
You dodge the camera's blind spots. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Directly.
Yeah. Okay, I think we covered the on rails. Even if we didn't say much about the release, there weren't many releases this year.
Yeah. Besides, Penguin Must Die. That one you guys got.
Yeah. Okay. Don't Google.
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Step streams for that one.
So for the next one is, what do you think it's the best original run and gun of 2023?
Oh, I could take that one since I've played a handful of them. So I don't think I'm going to be stealing anyone else's because it's probably a game you guys know and have played, but it's not nearly as like well known or popular as I think it should be because it's actually really well made. And that's Shinobi Non Grata, which came out this year. It's one, I really enjoy it because it's Ninja Spirit. It's heavily inspired by Ninja Spirit, which is a game I always loved and enjoyed playing. Whether it was on the TurboGrafx or the arcade version, which is really hard, but really good. That's just a masterful game by Irem. So they took Ninja Spirit and they mixed it with, I would say, something like Contra, or not Contra, but like Hardcores, because it's very much almost like a boss rush where you have a short stage and then you have like a really involved and detailed boss. But it's basically like Ninja Spirit. You're cycling through weapons, the way he jumps, even a lot of the weapons mirror. It's almost an homage to Ninja Spirit in some ways, a lot of the callbacks and graphics and everything else. So if you do like Ninja Spirit, and a lot of people do, and you like that boss rush style of like action game, I don't know if I would call it a run and gun versus an action platformer. But it's definitely more action based than it is platforming based. So it's as close to a run and gun as of a new game that's already out that I've played this year. And then the only knock against it really that I could make is that it's great for beginners and intermediate players. But if you're an experienced player and you're looking for a hard 1cc, it's not hard enough. Like that would have made the game perfect. It's so fun and it's so creative and it's so well made. And like, it's just, there's a lot to it. It's so fun to play, but if you're a skilled player, you'll clear it pretty quickly, within, let's say, a few hours or less. And there isn't a hard enough mode to really like sink your teeth into and like keep coming back for the challenge. And that almost kind of ruins it because it's otherwise like really good. It almost needs like
Yeah,
it almost needs like a follow-up, like a patch where it's like, here's a really great hard arcade mode. Almost kind of like when you play Ninja Spirit on the TurboGrafx and you're like, this game's awesome, but it's too easy. Now that I've beaten it a million times, like I can just run through it. We'll play the arcade version. The arcade version will kick your ass. But it's the same game. It really needs that. But other than that, like I said, it's very much worth looking into. And if you're not like a super skilled player and you want something on the easier intermediate side, you'll have a blast with it. It's a really cool game. So that's kind of my pick. And it deserves a little more attention than it's gotten because the dev did a good job with it.
Yeah, the dev's working on an awesome looking mech game right now as well. So definitely.
What's that one called?
I don't remember what it's called, but he has a Twitter account. You can probably
have to look it up.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get the link actually real quick.
Yeah, I think
we're editing this, so hold on. Let me.
I think I saw the game, but I can't remember the name as well. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't play this game. Actually, let me see.
Pico. Yeah, his name is Pico on Twitter. Let me Pico. Let me link this guy because it looks fucking awesome.
Okay. Yeah, it's on my Steam wish list, but I didn't buy it. That's why I didn't play.
This guy posts a lot. This guy one of those posters. All right.
Yeah, it's really fun. So it's like if you like, it's one of those things. Like if you like Ninja Spirit, don't even think about it. Just pick it up because you'll enjoy playing. It's very similar in how it works and functions and the weapon swapping and how all that works. So
Ninja Spirit was my first Hue card.
It was one of the best games on the system.
There
so
we
I
go.
mean, it was good.
I had Ninja Spirit and what's the name of the other one? The one with the big samurai that was was waving a sword on top.
Oh yeah, Samurai Ghost.
Yeah,
so they
horrible game. Yeah,
I did something else on the PC Engine. It's a Japanese name. I forget off the top of my head, but it was called Samurai Ghost in the US,
Samurai. Yeah, I had those two games, and I was the only thing I could think about it was like, how come one game could be they're about the same theme, and one is too good and the other so bad.
Right. Well, at least Irem was really good at making games at the time that you had to find a balance between offense and defense. Like a lot of their games had that same theme where, it wasn't just action and shooting. It was always, managing that like dichotomy between, are you going to defend or are you going to attack? Like, and always having the right weapon selected and, knowing when to play defensively and when to play offensively. Like Ninja Spirit does that really well.
Oh no, Ninja Spirit is the one I liked. I didn't like the other one.
I don't think too many people like the other one.
No, the other one is a mess, basically. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go because I'm going to be quick. I didn't play any new run and guns this year, but I've been playing old ones. The one I had most fun this year was Dolphin Blue from the Atomic Wave on the arcade. Awesome. So that's awesome. Let's say anyone who really likes Metal Slug should take a look on this one because they take Metal Slug to a different art direction, basically. And let's say that's the best Metal Slug clone I have ever played. And I just found this out because when I was playing arcade at a friend said, "Oh, is this new? Is this good?" They said, "Yeah, that's on Atomic Wave." I said, "Oh, cool." And then I started playing the game and said, "Wow." And for people who doesn't want to play that on an arcade emulator, you can also play on the Dreamcast using a GDEMU because they cracked the game to run on the Dreamcast as well. So you can even play console those days.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, have you played Demon Front? That's another really good
Demon Front from the PGM. Yes, I played it as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if we're including Shinobi Non Grata, I'm gonna go with Gravity Circuit. It's not really.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let it ride. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one that's kind of looks like I was really intrigued by that one. It looks like it's an homage to a Mega Man games, obviously.
It is, but it's kind of weird because it's like a mix of a Mega Man with a beat 'em up element. So the normal stages are very like mobility heavy. You have a grappling hook, it's pretty fast. One of the things I didn't like is that a lot of the enemies are pretty bloated, as far as I could tell, and their health is bloated. I had a lot more fun when I was like, okay, I'm just going to ignore the enemies whenever I can and blast through the levels really quickly, and the game instantly became a lot more fun. But the real highlight of the game, the thing I loved, is the boss fights, because the boss fights are like a mix of Mega Man bosses with the beat 'em up like character action elements. So not only do you have like a kind of Mega Man strict patterns. Well, the patterns themselves are really well handled. The bosses have very simple, like just a few attacks that are really easy to remember and memorize. They don't have like long strings or any of that shit, and they mix them up in really interesting ways. There's like RNG, the way they overlap, it always creates interesting situations. The way their random, repositioning affects attacks is really fun, and your own moveset is really fun because you can do a lot. You can you can jump kick, you can do a lot of these. Punishes during different attacks. You have a pretty extensive moveset. And the bosses are really fun. I believe that it should have a boss rush by now. It didn't when I was playing. So if you play it as like a boss rush, it's amazing.
And one question: does it play somehow like Bionic Commando, or it's
a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. There's a grappling hook during the stages in which you use. It's more similar to well, I'm not sure if you played this, but Environmental Station Alpha, the way the grappling hook worked there.
No.
Yeah. It's not quite as like tight and controlled as Bionic Commando, but it's kind of similar, in the similar vein.
Okay.
Yeah, that game looks really cool. I have to play it.
Yeah, the graphics are good. I like it.
Yeah, when I was like, okay, Mark, check out Gravity Circuit. He's like, nah, I'm done with 2D games.
Perfect segue to my choice. So my choice for this year's run and gun, you guys went with Ninja Gaiden Shinobi Nangrata and Gravity Circuit. So I get to choose this.
I couldn't take this one away from you, Mark.
I'm going with Wanted Dead because there you go. That's like a 3D run and gun, and that game is sick. I love that game so much. And I think if people understood it when it came out, because everyone was kind of thinking it was going to be like Ninja Gaiden, the 3D style games, or maybe a little bit like Devil May Cry or something, but it really isn't. It's more like if you took Metal Gear Rising and then you stuck Metal Slug in there somehow. Because you do legit,
Mark,
like routing. Mark, yes,
your camera is saying battery exhausted.
Okay, time to change the battery, kids. I got too excited.
Don't people use the chargers anymore?
Yeah. His Wanted Dead Game of the Year review is just as much of a train wreck as the release of that.
I think it's time for him to feed the hamsters. Oh, yeah, there we go.
What is going on over here? We're going to be seeing.
There's a peak from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Calm down, boys. Calm down. Calm your ass down. Okay, am I back on camera now?
We're back, yeah.
Okay, let me fix my fishbowl that I smacked over and broke during the last recording. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Wanted Dead for my run and gun of the year because you are running. Stone has insane movement speed, and by damn, you are gunning people down. And what I really like about the game is that it really forces you to use both styles of gameplay, because if you just try to play it as a straight up like character action game, you're going to get shot to death and you're going to get grenaded from around corners. But if you try to play it like Gears of War peek and cover, you'll run out of ammo. So the game forces you to kind of stick and move around. It's really cool. And it has some real arcade moments. Like in stage 5, there's this part where you turn the corner and a guy with a grenade launcher just standing. It's just up on like a balcony. You turn the corner, he just blows you up. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, you got to actually memorize.
You have to memo the stages, and I had so much fun playing that game this year. So that's my running gun of the year. 3D, yeah, 2D. We're moving up.
It's okay. Nobody said it had to be a 2D. That's fine.
But I also have a 2D selection just in case you guys don't like that pick, which was it's not a game of the year or anything, but it's something I'm keeping my eye on. It's this Metal Slug fan game called Aqua Ipan. And you're like in a scuba outfit, and it's super reminiscent of Metal Slug.
It is out already?
No, it's a demo. It's in demo form right now.
Okay.
It's a demo now.
Because I was monitoring this one.
Yeah, so I played the demo. it has promise. It has some issues, but I didn't want to be the one video, make a video and just like hammer the poor guy. So I'm waiting for the final release to come out, but it's looking really interesting. So I want to check it out.
Okay, so
before we move to the next part, Shmup Junkie mentioned about Shinobi Non Grata, and I just looked at the video, and it's kind of funny because it reminds me a lot of the Legend of Kage. So it's like fast-paced game. So it's not like when they talk about Shinobi, I was thinking about Sega. Shinobi is much slow-paced, methodic, but Shinobi Non Grata is very fast. You move around. There are cool boss fights, and it's already on my Switch list when it goes on sale again.
Legend of Kage is a good comparison too. Like I said, and I figured that and Ninja Spirit between the two, they were just
depends on who you talk to. Ninja Spirit and Legend of Kage, so both same vibe but different audience.
I guess probably Legend of Kage probably influenced Ninja Spirit by a lot, because like it's a very early game, so it's a
I got a point here to make. I wonder if you guys agree with me, because you play a fair bit of like arcade old school platformers. I feel like this is there's like a genre of platformer that kind of died out, where it feels like a run and gun almost, where the platforming, the terrain is a lot more flat. There's less like straight up platforming pit stuff going on. But the enemies spawn from every side of the screen. They rush at you. They're like infinitely respawning. It's very like chaotic. It's very like enemy AI based. Well, think for example, Legend of Kage, Ninja Spirit, Ghosts and Goblins, another game of this style, and also this. I think this comes back. It comes from Russian Attack. Those old games like Kung Fu Master, where they kind of influenced platformers, and you had that merger. And run and guns came from the same mold of games, and I feel like this genre of platformer is almost dead now. Now everything is influenced by like Mega Man, Shinobi, those kind of like more puzzle room based games. So
what's funny? Like, I literally had a heated argument with my IRL friend about this yesterday, because I went over to hang out with him and force him to play Resident Evil Mercs with me. And his tastes are very like modern gaming tastes, RPGs, that types of thing. And the game he was just super jazzed about, and he's like, "This is like the best platformer ever. This is like one of the best platformers ever made." Was The Messenger, which I played and reviewed, and I was like, "Oh, you mean Super Mario Bros. With a sword?" And I proceeded to like slam The Messenger for like 5 minutes.
Oh man, fair comparison.
Oh my gosh. And I was just trying to explain this exact thing to him. He's like, "No, it's not Super Mario Bros. With a sword." I'm like, the jump mechanics, the level design, the enemy, even the boss fights are all very like Nintendo inspired, Super Mario inspired. And I was trying to show him like Ninja Gaiden and some of these kind of like combat based platformers. And he said to me, "Yeah, but I don't care about that, because I like to be able to move fast in platformers. I don't care about combat." And I'm like, what are you talking about?
You could have told him that if you press A button, Mario will move fast.
I was trying to tell him, like, but if you think about it, all you're doing is holding forward. Like, sure, the screen's moving, it looks like you're doing stuff, but the Messenger literally has screens that are just empty, and you just run across them. I'm like, you don't think that's a problem at all?
Yeah, it reminds me of like racing games, where a lot of players are like, "Oh." Yeah, well, it reminds me of racing games where a lot of players are like, "Oh, I don't play like more simi racing games because they don't feel fast." But when you look at like arcade racers, a lot of them are a lot like the amount of actions per second or per minute, whatever, is often lower. So you have that like in Sims and something like Dirt Rally, you get like that really intense sense of speed because of the APM, and also just increase the field of view, dude. Just increase the field of view.
I really like this style of platformer. I wish it had some kind of official recognition.
Yeah, it needs like a label.
Play them instead of Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it needs a label, because a lot of people don't know where to put them. Like for example, Junkie, you put it under Run and Gun, and I feel like that's the reason why, because it has more in common with the Run and Guns, the type of design.
Close kind of is like the difference. Yeah.
Like sometimes I just call it like an action platformer, because it just kind of says, hey, it's focused on like combat and action as opposed to platforming or something.
But then
there's no way to really.
Yeah. There's because you think about like action platformers like Mega Man X.
Yeah,
Mega Man X. It's similar, like in the sense that you slash a lot of dudes, but there's no like that run and gun chaotic feel of dudes coming from every angle. I got to slash this guy, got to jump this. That kind of like dynamic.
Shadow's a bit like that. Cyber Shadow's a little bit like that. Not totally, but a little bit.
Well, there's my pick yet. I didn't say mine. The run and gun I like, and then I played in 2023 is a game called Death Enforcers, which is definitely a rip-off of Sunset Riders, but
that's cool.
But with characters from police movies from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, yeah, I know that game. That's right.
Yeah, you have a one character is definitely Charles Bronson, the other is definitely Clint Eastwood, and there are two chicks I couldn't recognize from any game, but they are pretty interesting, and everything, the mechanics and everything else is definitely a rip-off from Sunset Riders. The soundtrack is crazy good. It's pure 70s music. There's a lot of humor on the game. Like you basically bump into a pun every, 2 minutes you play. And I don't know, man, it's amazing. It's really good. The gameplay itself could be a little bit better. The mechanics, the hitbox, the characters' hitbox are a little bit too big for my taste. So you have to play. You play kind of paranoid all the time. You don't go crazy running like Contra. So you play more like strategically. You have to think where to position your character, where to take over, where to shoot. You don't go all guns blazing and shooting everything. No.
It sounds and looks a little bit like a hybrid between Sunset Riders and also Rolling Thunder, right?
Yeah.
It's more strategic.
That wish.
Put it in chat.
Here we go. And the only bad thing I have to say about Death Enforcers is the fact that I didn't manage to buy it a physical.
It's not
copy.
out yet.
No, it's out. It's out. It's on PS4,
not
PS5.
on Steam.
No, it wasn't ported to Steam for some reason.
No, no wonder I haven't heard of it.
It's a Switch. It's a Switch only.
No, I guess I'm not sure if it's on Switch, but I played on the
Oh,
PS4.
PS4.
Maybe they released the consoles first to cash in and then sell on Steam.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But it's a nice game. I quite like it. It supports two players.
Console sales, though.
Sorry.
Don't you make less money off console sales as opposed to Steam?
Nope.
Sales?
Much more money on consoles. That's the fact. People on PC, they pirate a lot more. They wait for sales. So you're better off make money first on consoles and then on PC. That's the reason why GTA and other big titles, they get released first on consoles and then on the PC.
Yeah, I've heard though, I guess depending on what your publishing and all that deal is, but I've heard like you get way more from Steam, that 70% or whatever, versus what you get from
you're not talking about the percentage, you're talking about the whole amount of money. So yes, you take so Sony and others, they take much more money from you when you do the game through them, but you're going to sell much more on the PlayStation, Nintendo, or Xbox than you're going to sell on Steam. That's the point.
I see.
But about Death Enforcers, limited run games made a very short run for they published a very short run for this game, so nobody basically had to manage to bag a copy. And now it's crazy expensive because like people are finally playing the game and figuring out the game is good.
That's funny because I usually follow the limited run games newsletter, and this one completely flew under my radar.
Yeah, mine too, unfortunately.
Couldn't they just do another pressing, or did they not do that?
They never
They don't do second press.
They're called limited run, Mark.
But what about strictly limited dogs and all the other
they have to talk to strictly limited then.
They have to do all that.
Our other thing is that it gets released in Japan for some reason.
Yeah, the good thing about strictly limited games and limited run games is that they're starting to get pre-orders for PS6 games already.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So maybe someday
Yeah, Sony didn't make a console yet, but you know, they will take 12 years to deliver your game, so why not?
Just go ahead and just forget the whole physical thing at this point.
Nah, I like physical.
Oh yeah, over his dead body, Mark.
At this point, yeah.
You're gonna have to prize. Yeah.
No, I like to have my physical games. I don't like the idea of online distribution only. This is not something I support. But anyway, that's just me being old. Sorry.
Hack your PS4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw something on Twitter a couple of days ago. It was something like if buying the game don't transfer the property to you, then pirating the game is not a crime.
Yeah, basically. That's basically what it's going to come down to, whether people want to say it.
You got to get like a fireproof safe and shove hard drives in there, you know.
Yeah.
That's ownership, baby.
Now someone will have the copy.
Discs? I can't remember when I did my digital physical video. There's these types of discs. I can't remember what they're called, but they can like prevent disc rot for like insane amount of time, way much longer than a commercial disc could. So you could like buy a bunch of those and just burn a bunch of those and keep
just
those
steal the discs from the military, you know, just
bury them in an underground.
No, I honestly I believe on the power of the community. Like me and Paulo, we were playing like MSX games that were supposed to be wiped from the face of earth for decades, and we can still find it. So I believe someone from the community will have a copy and do this for us.
Probably.
Okay, for the next topic, well, if the previous topics we didn't have much to say because 2023 was a kind of a slower year in terms of releases. This one will be a hot one. What is the best comeback, remake, or republish of a non-new game on 2023? There are plenty.
Is there anything? Is anyone else going to say any other title than Dodonpachi Daiojo here?
Yeah,
so
I will.
You can go first.
No.
I will.
What are you coming up with?
I'll save that one for Mark.
I haven't played that game. I haven't played it, so I can't pick it. You know, I'm going with the Ray Z collection, Radiant Silvergun on Steam, and I like Radiant Silvergun more than Daiojo. Mark, I'm sorry. It's just I've been getting into it, and it's really fucking awesome.
Yeah, but the port, the difference of like the DOJ port versus Radiant Silvergun port. I mean, it's cool and everything, but
I can play DOJ on MAME. I can play DOJ on MAME.
No, you can't play DOJ on MAME as you can play on the re-release. That's the point.
No. Okay. Come on, let's state this. It's based on the comeback. If we put MAME on the equation, you break the rule.
Oh, so, but you can't
lose. You lose, Bog.
Well, but then you guys are bullying me into putting the Daiojo.
No,
I haven't played it. No, it's over.
Razy and
collection.
I'm just giving you a time.
No, Razy and Radiant Silvergun are pretty good picks. I'm just saying, like we cannot consider MAME for this pick. Otherwise, like we'll go crazy and.
MAME doesn't have online leaderboards though. Just
yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
Well, good thing I suck at scoring. That's really good,
But you can watch other people be good though, Bog. There's that.
Sure, but I can do it on YouTube, so no problem.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I don't need to.
Well, except the Japanese super players, they never upload anything. You really can only get it on the port at that point.
That is a good point. But then I can't get it on PC. That's right.
I know, bummer.
It's rough.
Okay, so we have from the big titles, we had Ray Z, we had Dodonpachi, we had Radiant Silvergun. What else?
I mean, we had a good year for re-releases, that's for sure. We also had the Toplan stuff. I kind of liked. It was a little janky. But I liked the Toplan PC ports.
We had I quite like them as well.
Outzone or all those.
I guess this was the year of Toplan. I guess like it's. I saw new releases on Steam. We got new releases on Steam. We got a new title from M2, and we got even a new cards from Evercade.
True.
And I do like the Steam port of Radiant Silvergun. I do kind of wish it was a little bit more robust in terms of like new stuff, because it's like it's the same thing 3 times. I even say that review. It's like, okay, it's cool, it's on PC and everything, but
that's why you should
port 3 times in a row.
See, that's why it's good to like slowly get into shmups, because I couldn't get into. I bounce off Radiant Silvergun so many times. I finally get it. I see the light.
It finally happened. Yes.
Yeah, so now that's not going to fully enjoy it. Well, you're like, same thing, you know.
Yeah.
I particularly have a problem with both Ikaruga and Radiant Silvergun.
How dare you?
No, I think it's too much.
You hate treasure. We're figuring this out. You don't like sin punishment.
You
don't. Philippe,
you're getting somewhere.
Could be.
Philippe, name a good treasure.
But I'm not alone on this. I'm not alone on this. But in my opinion, like Radiant Silvergun and Ikaruga, I think they play nicely. They are absurdly well done games. They are fantastic in terms of graphics and visuals and whatever. Even in the storytelling, they're good. Like even if Ikaruga, the stories, the back story is minimal, but like there is a story there that people love it. But they, in my opinion, they play a little bit like homework. You have to learn something which is very hard and wrap this logic around your head in a way that sometimes ending put me off, ending me like.
Don't you play a bunch of old school shmups? Like,
I do.
Yeah, you're getting the memorized
like Iron games and all this, and that's like
the
whole of these games.
But I'm not a big fan of the puzzle tactics. Both games. I'm not saying they're bad. I like them a lot. I play them a lot, but they're not my first pick. Like they.
Well, it's one of those things I think where. At first, it feels more strict at first than it actually is. I feel like once you kind of get into the system, you realize, there's a lot more flexibility than meets the eye, and you kind of feel a lot more free after a while. So they kind of have that reverse, because usually if you play a chaining game, you're like, maybe I have a lot of ways to chain. Nope, you just get funnel is a pretty strict route until you get to like really. High levels, but here's like starts off very puzzle like, very like prescribed, and then slowly you kind of figure out, there's like secret chains, and there's a lot of ways to chain them. I can pick which enemies I focus on, which I ignore. It's kind of
they're the gateway drug to slowly get bogged to appreciate and enjoy chaining. We gotta work him through.
Well, listen.
Listen. We'll get you into some Ikaruga.
No,
get you into some Donanpachi.
It's not gonna happen because I already played Guange, and that's like perfect for me. That's like
I love Guange though. So Guange's chaining is amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
What I feel weird about Ikaruga's chaining is that in the end you're trying to change the way you have to shoot at enemies, while it feels a bit unfair that last time a white enemy got me, so next time should be a black enemy that gets me, so that they can take a life out from me. So it's kind of, you have to pick the kind of enemy to focus on, so it's distracting overall. So in the end, I'll just play Ikaruga and don't care at all for the chaining, unlike, let's say, the Daiojo, where I try to say, if I wait a little bit here, if I use the hyper, I can extend my chain. But it's part of the gameplay. But Ikaruga, the chaining it tries to force too much into you. So that's my feeling.
But if you delay your kills for like a fraction of a second in Daiojo, your chain's gone. It's flushed down the toilet. But in Radiant Silvergun and Ikaruga, if you don't feel comfortable chaining, you can just ignore the enemies. You can just hang back. You're like, nope, I'm not dealing with this today, baby. And there's a lot more flexibility there. How you can
probably, if you want to keep the chaining, as I think that the chaining on Daiojo is a little bit more severe than Ikaruga in that respect, but at least it's still part of the basic game mechanics, so you don't add another layer on top of that.
Yeah, there's like an eternal debate, the two two types of chaining fans,
Yeah, well, I like them both, and I'll give you. I'm not Mr. Ikaruga, but I do have to say that one of my favorite moments this year came from Ikaruga, which was during Shmup Slam 6. Dr. Tan did a live Ikaruga run, and Dr. Tan's Shmup philosophy, I'm not of the same Shmup philosophy, where what he likes to do is he likes to completely route his games in complete isolation. He doesn't ever look up what other people are doing. He wants to route his games completely blind. And so he came up with this whole chaining route completely in his own world without any external influences. And it worked because Ikaruga's more flexible than it seems. And when Soft Drink was like commentating his run, he's like, wow, I've never seen this. Wow, okay. Like, it's like kind of blowing Soft Drink's mind. Like, oh, what? And there's this really funny moment where I don't know if it picked up on the camera or not, or on the mic or not, but we could hear his commentary as he was playing, and like Dr. Tan was like really into it. And there's this whole section in Ikaruga where there's a safe spot, and Dr. Tan, because he doesn't look up routes, he didn't know this. So there's this part where it's like he's doing all these crazy dodges, and Soft Drink is commentating. He's like, I wonder why he doesn't just go in the safe spot. And then Dr. Tan, as he's playing, he's like, what? There's a safe spot. And I think you can see it on the camera, and like everyone busted out laughing. And he's like,
this.
I was like, dude, just keep doing what you're doing. You're not gonna find the safe spot in 3 seconds. Just keep going.
This reminds me of a friend of mine that used to play Mega Man, and for some reason, and he was really good at the game. Like he was back in the day, like he was totally dedicated about Mega Man. He was like probably if you're watching this, man, you're the best. You know who I'm talking about. But he played Mega Man, and I remember coming to his house one day, and I said, you can switch weapons, right? How do I do that? If I press select.
Mega Man the correct way, you mean?
He was playing
correctly.
He was playing Mega Man without only with the Mega Booster, nothing else, and he managed to beat the game as many times as he wanted.
That's funny because that's how I play Mega Man these days. Is because like the weapons I feel like are a little overpowered, so I'll just play it with the Buster cannon.
Yeah, the way I do it is just like Buster only until the boss refights, and then I just use the weapons. I'm like, I feel like that's the intent, right?
I beat Mega Man X with Buster only.
Well, yeah, I did that. Oh, that's like a classic. You got to do that.
Yeah.
You have to.
Just to put in context, this was in Brazil, in a time where there were like rare magazines talking about games. So he had no idea he could switch weapons.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
okay.
My whole point of that story, one, shout outs to Dr. Tan. He's awesome. And it was a really awesome run. And two, Ikaruga's actually a little bit more flexible than you'd think. You'd think it's all just, you do it the Ikaruga way and this is how everyone does it. But that's not the chain system is more flexible than you'd think.
The fact is, my problem with Ikaruga was I tried to play it. I tried to like the game so much when it got released. I played it so much back in the day because like it was the big shmup of, I don't know, 2001 or 20?
2001.
2001.
It was the big shmup of the decade of 2000s and 2010s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And when it came out, I remember I was playing a pirate copy on my Dreamcast, and nobody heard about Ikaruga. Like I was the only guy playing Ikaruga around. Nobody cared about shmups back in the day, and I was forcing myself to, you have to master this game because it's really good. But I never managed to get good at it because like I was forcing myself to do the combos, the chains all the time, and I was dividing my focus, and one day I said, you know what, this game is very stressful, I don't want to play it anymore. But yeah, I can get back to it at some point.
The chaining game experience.
Yeah.
Well, I think Radiant Silver Gun is more. Well, I think it's better about not about like distracting you from the scoring, because the survival is so like scoring intensive. You treat scoring as a means to survive rather than like as a Ikaruga thing where you just want to get like a high chain.
Yeah. Both approaches are really interesting, but confirmed non-treasure fan, Mr. Shmup PR.
True, yeah.
No, that's not true. I like I mentioned, I can be a fan and not just be the biggest fan. Like
I'm just not a big fan.
Yeah.
No, Treasure's kind of mid.
Yeah, mid-range fan is good enough for me. I'm a big fan of other stuff. A big fan of Alessi, big fan of Gradius. Like Ikaruga is okay. It's good.
What's your favorite treasure
Gradius 5?
Clear the record.
What?
Gradius 5? Do you like Gradius 5?
It's quite good, I guess.
I guess.
It's okay.
We'll have to investigate this later.
Something. She's like, yeah, it's nice. Oh yeah.
No, it's good. I don't. I wouldn't say it's the best Gradius, but like, it's okay. I like it.
Okay, Philippe. We're keeping an eye on you.
Okay, so who else wants to? Do you want to? Any of you guys want to say something different from apart from?
Yeah. I was gonna go with more of like my biggest surprise comeback because it was actually very recent. I wasn't expecting it. It's not necessarily like the best release, like the Ray Z release is, was so good by M2, and what they did with it. And but what surprised me, and it was just recently, was the Arcade Archives release of Mystic Warriors that came out. Because it's kind of like that guilty pleasure game that like most people, like a lot of people just never heard of. And I remember when I did it, I randomly did it in a video like before they released the game. I made that video called like best PC, action games you never played or something like that.
Mystic Warriors is awesome.
And Mystic Warriors was like the first one, and other people were like, how have I never heard of this game? And literally like less than a month later, before the end of the year, all of a sudden Arcade Archives releases Mystic Warriors it's like, wow, really? Like of all the games, because it's that one game where you're like, it was really, really cool. I mean, Sunset Riders was crazy popular. Mystic Warriors is pretty much Sunset Riders, like on crack, just with, a completely different theme, but the music is awesome. It's fun to play. It's one of those just like, guilty pleasure kind of games. So I was just happy to see that they released it because I thought everybody kind of just forgot about it and they just let it go. So it was interesting to see Arcade Archives re-release it. It would be a great console release too. It probably will never get one just because it's such a good multiplayer game. That it would be nice to see like on Switch or PS4 or somewhere else. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's more of like my biggest surprise comeback because it happened right before the end of the year, and I don't think anybody was expecting it. Like we didn't know it was coming.
Well, how do you guys feel about the Sega comebacks that were announced?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
like the trailer, you mean, where they show like Shinobi and
Shinobi, Streets of Rage 3D, as I call it. Then
I saw that.
Yeah, the new Jet Set Radio game and a Golden Axe. Yeah, I don't know.
Jet Set Radio at least looks like it's going to be similar to the original game. Like it looks like it's in the same vein, whereas like Golden Axe looked like a total completely different game.
Maximo. It looks like Maximo, like the second Maximo game on the PS2. Very much in that like action adventure vein.
Yes, I mean it depends on the developer, like always. I mean, it's we don't know who's going to make the games, and
we kind of do
whether they're good or not.
We kind of
know what the developers are.
Some bigger game or something, weren't you saying, Bog? They're like not actually individual games. They're like in some bigger.
Oh,
games.
That's a theory. That I don't think that's going to be true. But there is some like indications they're going to be part of a kind of like metaverse live service thing. But I don't know. That hasn't been confirmed at all. So we don't. But we don't know some of the developers. For example, Shinobi is being either co-developed or developed by the Streets Rage 4 guys. The Streets Rage. Yeah, the what are they called? Well, not .demo, but the like Lizard Cube Games. They also did like the Wonder Boy, I believe. And the new Streets of Rage is going to be developed by a team that made like a kind of like a Power Stone type of fighting game before. I forgot its name, but yeah, most likely them. So we'll see. I don't know who was in charge of Golden Axe though. So we'll have to see and see how that goes. I'm also really curious about the Final Fight remake that Capcom is going to do.
Not to be an asshole, but like for me, part of like what makes these IPs their IPs is the fact that Sega made them and that the Sega dev team it was their work. And these types of things, they're basically glorified fan games, is what they are. They're like licensed fan games where they put them out to another studio and everything, but. They could turn out pretty cool, but I don't think I don't know. For me, it's not like, oh my God, Sega's back and all that kind of thing people always say.
Well, I have to agree with you in, I would say, most of the titles I saw on the trailer, but I quite like what I saw about Shinobi.
It's going to be a Metroidvania, dude.
It's okay.
Oh, you're okay. Well, damn, you're immune then. I'm so scared that it'll be a Metroidvania. No.
Yeah, probably. I'm pretty sure Shinobi will be a Metroidvania. Golden Axe will be a something, I don't know, like a GTA with melee GTA with like where you walk around and meet guys here and there. An open world thing. I'm pretty sure Streets of Rage will be a disaster because it looks horrible. And the other two games looks okay, like they look fine, but they didn't convince me. But Shinobi, I don't know. I think they're doing something. They're doing something good there.
You have to like Jet Set Radio in the first place to be excited for the new one. I think that it has a chance of being more faithful to the original because okay, the original was already 3D, was cell shaded, so basically you just do a new game. So there's not much there to reinvent the wheel.
I'm okay with Jet Set Radio because like I played it on back in the Dreamcast back in the day. I didn't play a lot. I like what I played, but it wasn't exactly for me. But like if they improve the formula a little bit, I'm happy. The one that really concerns me is Streets of Rage because like we just received a very good Streets of Rage 2D with like hand draw animations and whatever. And now comes what doesn't look good, and it's a 3D interpretation of the game, which we all know and hate, which is similar to Fighting Force. And Fighting Force
it could also be more similar to Spike Out. Have you thought about that one?
Could be maybe similar, or maybe something similar to the new Spider-Man. Something more oriented.
Oh no,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not that I expect it to be good, but I'm really excited because I just want developers to try more 3D beat 'em ups again, because that was like a genre that got killed off early, mostly by gaming journalists, and just kind of like the rise of more bigger like sandboxy games. First thing that comes to my mind when I think of 3D fighting games is the Musou series. Oh no! Of all the things, not Godhead.
But they're the most recent ones that I see being released.
But it's like the anime licenses. They're like riding on the other licenses nowadays, right? Like Attack on Titan.
And it feels very different because you're basically overpowered all the time. So basically, you can take like 50, 60 enemies at once, and
it's like the coolest.
And you have like some epic boss fights. So it's not really a beaten up game. So it's different in that sense.
I mean, it could be, but it's like it has the best concept ever. You just fight a lot of dudes, but they just managed to make it boring because all the dudes are boring. They don't do anything.
Everything's boring.
I want to feel like there's got to be at least one of them that's kind of good, right? Like
I like the Fish of the North Star one.
Oh man,
because wait. Fish of the North Star, that's different.
Isn't that by the Yakuza developers?
Yeah, I think they are. Right, it's okay. I mean, it's not the best, but for a Musou game, it's fun, and it definitely has some Fish of the North Star elements there. So it's nothing they just like make up things with historical characters and whatever. So you know who are beating, and they do what they do on the anime, so it's okay.
Yeah, the anime goons.
Yeah.
The only time I really get super excited about like re-releases and remakes is when some of the original talent is involved. Because they've been known to do pretty good jobs with it. Like the best example is like Natsume. You look at them and like their recent re-releases, with Pocky and Rocky games, with the Ninja Warriors remastered, with the Wild Guns. It's like, you've got some of the original talent involved, and you see the game and you can tell, like, it really feels like the original game, but they're making a new game, and everything they've released so far that way has been pretty fantastic.
Yeah, Shadow of the Ninja remake soon.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna looking awesome. So it's kind of like when some of the original like compile guys get involved in some of the remakes, like then I kind of get excited because like, oh, these guys they have an idea of what they're doing, they have a formula that they follow, and they're just modernizing it. And when it's like a totally new developer, it's hit and miss. So it's like, oh yeah, I love Golden Axe, or I love Shinobi, but I'm expecting a completely different game by a completely different team. The name is the same, but the game's not. So it's kind of just, hey, cool idea. Let's see what happens. But whenever like original teams get involved, that's when it's kind of exciting, because it's almost like exciting, isn't it, to see like some of these old guys wanting to get back into it and, be recognized again. Because some of these genres, they kind of fell by the wayside. They weren't popular. They're like, they didn't get paid attention to. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, Yu Koshiro has been getting involved in games, and they're working on the, Eartheon on the Mega Drive, and, that's looking awesome. So it's almost exciting to see them. Like even the Toll Plan guys, like they almost feel like they don't want to program anymore because everything's so different now. They wouldn't be able to really relearn the tools and program a new game, even if they wanted to. But they're just so happy to be like back in kind of like getting a second chance or like a rebirth or in the spotlight. So they're trying really hard to like re-release their older games and, you know, get people involved again. And like, it's really cool to see like those original guys like get back into the industry in some ways. You know, they're not holding it back. They're just kind of grounding it compared to like everything just being modernized and like a shell of its former self. Like you can feel the DNA, right? And in a lot of the games when you replay them from some of these older developers that are getting involved again. I like that.
I'm thinking of like this actually ties into what I was saying about the death of the arcade platformer, because they wheeled out Fujiwara out of the retirement home for Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, right? And he just absolutely fucking nailed it. Like, just perfect. And it has that exact arcade spirit. You do not get platformers like this anymore at all. And you know, it's just insanely difficult, insanely chaotic, just randomness driven, just very punishing with a very, very dark sense of humor. You know, it's just perfect.
And the only reason that game even got all the slack it did is because a lot of people just didn't like the visual direction it took, you know, because it looked so different and people wanted that old school pixel art. Because I can imagine if they went a little bit more old school and it looked like a modernized, really beautiful version of the original games, and it played as good as it does, because the game is like crazy cool.
Yeah, like, the game these people wanted.
Like,
the game these people wanted is is La Maldita Castilla from Loco Malito.
Oh, well. Or like the PSP G&G maybe.
Yeah. I feel like Boggs really sold me on the game design of that game, and I really respect it. But I do think its visuals were a weakness of the game, and it's not just because I'm Mr. Pixel Art Pants, but because it's like they just don't look that great, and they kind of, you know, it's like this great game kind of like dragging an anchor behind it because the visuals aren't.
Yeah, really, I mean, it's one of my favorite games ever, and I just don't like the visuals very much. Sometimes they're good, and they're also a lot better when you actually play on a big screen and see the details. Because in the videos, it kind of gets like more muddy and just washed out, and all the details kind of disappear. But still, it's not a very good looking game in my opinion. It's just very like gray, kind of like rough looking. Some stuff.
I feel like what happened is I think like this is just me guessing, okay, this is not insider knowledge of any kind, but I kind of feel like what happened was Capcom's like, this game is not going to sell well. Well, we're letting the old man make his game. Sure, do what you want, and our budget is $4. Go ahead.
Yeah, but then they spent a lot on getting like streamers to like VTuber, you know, Japanese anime girl VTubers to play it. That's where all the money went instead of the graphics.
That's where their budget went.
The dog anime girl VTuber. They're like, yeah, we'll give her like $1 million. You know, meanwhile the art guy is like just working on his lunch break, just trying to quickly. Let me just draw Satan real quick. Yeah.
Well, let's say for the sake of argument that, you know, that wasn't the case, and they really did put, you know, a decent amount of money into the art budget, and that's just the direction they wanted to go with the game. Like they wanted to do something different. Yeah. It's like you have to remember that, you know, who are you making this game for? You know, you're making it for the majority of the people that are going to consume it are the ones that really played a lot and love the old games. So it's like, if you're going to do that, then you really can't go in that art direction, because you're marketing it to all these people who are going to be like, what the hell did you do? Why did you, you know, script the graph? And that's exactly what happened. It's like, it's just not what their core audience wanted. You know, if you're going to do that, you have to knock it out of the park. Like if you're going to change the graphics up and modernize it, it has to be like incredible to where people are like, you know what? It doesn't look like the old games, but it looks so awesome. I can't help it. Like, and if you don't do that, then you're just going to get like piled on because they
kind of hung themselves where they took a risk, but it was like a little too small of a risk. So you either play it safe and go with the pixel art, or you take a big risk and spend the money on the graphics. And they kind of took this little risk that it didn't really work for anyone.
I guess it's fair to say today the indie devs today nowadays, they have so many powerful tools and so many talented people doing games that if you try to do a remake and not do like a pixel art game, like mimicking the original artwork or whatever, the game you risk your game will end up looking like a premium indie game instead of a proper, proper full-blown release of a classic. But I guess this is it's just like how the market is nowadays. Like there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe, well, maybe if they had like, I don't know, twice the budget, they could like hire amazing artists, like for example, like the Vanillaware guys, or the I can't remember the other team that did an amazing game. I like the but anyway, you can hire like very good pixel artists. They can do like hand draw or pixel art in like 4K.
Yeah, Vanillaware, and the princess you save has massive tits.
I was about to say, you know who they could look to is like killing it, or those guys making those freaking gotcha games. Like,
yeah,
he was showing me after we argued about
Zenless Zone Zero.
Yeah, after we argued about the Messenger, we decided to be friends again, and we played the new Grand Blue Fantasy game or whatever.
Oh no, that looks so good.
It looks the graphics look amazing.
Oh no, we got one among us.
But it's based on.
We got one, boys.
A gotcha series.
Yeah,
that is what because I was like, no, this is based off an anime, right? He's like, dude, no, this is literally a gotcha series.
Dude, there's like a Grand Blue action RPG, and it also looks incredible. Oh, like there's Zenless Zone Zero as well. Fantastic looking game. All these Project Mugen, I'm looking at them like, why can't we get a fucking beat 'em up like this?
But imagine if Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection had like some gotcha.
Yeah, it is interesting though. I found the art style interesting because I was reading some interviews, and Tokuro Fujiwara was I'm probably mispronouncing that, but he said that it's like a type of art style he liked, which is like a picture book aesthetic. And I'm like thinking, were the games always meant to be like this? Because it's like, you know, when you go back and listen to like a rock album, a rendition of an NES game, and you're like, oh, so this is how it is supposed to be, was supposed to sound like, and you get like a whole new dimension on the music. I'm now wondering if maybe this art direction was always supposed to be the way G&G looked, or if it's like a new thing. Yeah, I don't know. But
it doesn't look good. It's the problem. Whether or not it's intended, it don't look good. So he's got to fix his intentions and make it look good some way.
Yeah, you're still gonna have to play it, I'm afraid, Mark.
I know.
I don't know. I quite like it, to be honest.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
No, I mean that the art direction, I don't think it's too bad. I like the fact that it looks like
it's not too bad. I'll keep an eye on you.
No, like a shadow puppet thing. It's not a disaster. Like it's just like maybe it could deserve to be better, but let's be honest, could be much worse.
Yeah. Well, guys, look up the Lucifer fight, Ghost of Goblins Resurrection. If there's one part that looks fucking awesome, it's the Lucifer fight.
Yeah, well, I cannot see it now, but I definitely understand that it has room for some improvement, but maybe that's what the author wanted. Like I remember that Konami released a game. I can't remember the name now, but it's a Japanese. It's like a Japanese Metroidvania from the NES time that was like used the kind of the same aesthetics. Can't remember the name now. But maybe it's the author's intention. Maybe it's I don't know. We don't own the game.
It isn't so much. It has to be pixel art. I'm saying I agree exactly with what Shmup Junkie said. I think Shmup Junkie said it great. He's like, you're either cater it to your core audience, or make it look so damn good that people are like, you know what, this is sick. Even if I'm not into this kind of art style, I like it. But I think it kind of hit this kind of weird middle ground where it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good.
So it doesn't look like Ghosts and Goblins. Like it just doesn't look like what people are expecting.
It looks like more like a flash game from the 2020s.
Yeah, it's a premium indie game.
Exactly, it makes it look like an indie game. Yeah,
it's like I found the game I was looking for. It's Getsu Fumaden, Undying Moon from Konami. They kind of use the same style, I guess. Maybe, I don't know, they hire the same guys, or one copy the style of the one studio copy the other style.
At least for that game, it almost looks like it works better with the theme and the style of game compared to Ghosts and Goblins.
And not only that, people expect Ghosts and Goblins to be one thing.
But it's got waifus.
So there's like there's a recall. I expect Ghosts and Goblins, Ghosts and Ghosts to look a certain way. If they don't look like that, it's not the same game.
That's why I always recommend people to play Locomalito's Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah.
The
Well,
first
the problem is it looks
It looks
fantastic. It looks fantastic. It also plays fantastic. But the problem is it's like one of those, you see a Ghosts and Goblins game, you take off the mask and it's Castlevania. It's hiding in there. It's hiding in plain sight because it's designed very much like that kind of memorizer, like a puzzly platformer type of thing. Not puzzly in like a literal sense, but very static. You learn what to do. You do it every time. But Ghosts and Goblins is just pure chaos, just complete mosh pit of fucking enemies.
It's a good game when there's like casual reviewers saying this game is too hard, it shouldn't exist, this is a crime against humanity.
Some guy said
that's a good for Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. I read that review. I'm like, oh, this might be a good game.
Some guy was like this is not, it's not possible. The game was not designed to be improved at. You cannot improve at this game.
Well, that's what people say about shmups most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, who plays this?
Exactly. That's why you got to check out Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection.
Okay, so I just have to make a honorable mention here before we move to the next topic. I'm quite happy that they re-release Tokyo Scramble Formation for the arcade archives.
What is that?
Because it's a very old game, very old arcade game from TATE, which you play like a red airplane, and you had drones, and you switch the drones, and you have to play around with the drones a lot to make the game work. And I know it's a pretty old game. I played it a lot, but it was probably one of the reasons why I end up getting interested into shmups. So I'm pretty happy that they released it.
You're basically sightseeing Tokyo.
Sorry?
You're basically sightseeing Tokyo.
Yeah.
Because you start at the Diet and they go around Shibuya, Shinjuku. What the hell?
That sounds pretty crazy.
It's a good game. It's not the best, but I have to say I played a lot back in the day. And I thought like nobody else would be interested. And then Arcade Archives come and re-releases it, republish it. So.
Yeah, they got your back.
Okay, so
It's
for the
funny, I was gonna say I just got a comment right as you were finishing the Arcade Archives bit, and we were talking about Mystic Warriors on my old Running Guns video. Literally, it just popped up saying Mystic Warriors is out now on Arcade Archives, and I just got it. I'm loving it. It's funny.
Yeah, you said guilty pleasure. It's just a pleasure, dude. It's such a good game. I think I prefer it over Sunset Riders, because in Sunset Riders there's I'm just not going to go into it. Just play Mystic Warriors.
Yeah, I know it's cool. It was just funny because like it surprised everyone, because in the video it was all about games that you haven't played yet, because you can't, because it's literally, unless you're playing out on MAME, there's no way to play it until now. Like it just came out. Now people are starting to leave comments being like, Mystic Warriors is out on Arcade Archives.
You know what's cool, but here's how you sell Mystic.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, here's how you sell. Yeah, I'm on a roll here. Here's how you sell Mystic Warriors. You have a proximity melee attack which cancels bullets. There we go.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Before we move, we gotta start joking that if anyone was going to talk anything besides Dodonpachi Daio Jo released by M2. So one thing worth mentioning there is that they made a heck of a great job to create new modes, new challenges. So it's not like your regular run-of-the-mill re-release like Radiant Silvergun and others, just get the same game that was released before and put in another console. Basically, they took the arcade experience, they made, of course, it perfect. You can play the same as the arcade board. I have one, and I can say it plays exactly the same. So awesome. It's perfect. But on the other hand, they add so much stuff that even having the arcade board can say, hey, there's a lot to play there. They added a lot of challenge. There are new modes. So there is the English version there hidden as well. So there's everything that should be there. So basically that's the way M2 has been doing those new release. And it's kind of a pity that most people, they just take an emulator, they wrap the game and they put on a console and say, hey, I'm re-releasing the game, but I'm not giving you anything, but I'm still charging you 50 bucks. And M2, they charge you $50, but they gave you a lot. So you can play a lot, so you explore the game. So you learn all little details and you can practice these different spots and runs. Say, hey, now I'm kind of mastering the game. So that makes it a lot, that makes the investment great. So it's not just a re-release. That's really a step up from everyone else.
Yeah, we better be seeing more 2-loop clears now.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, yesterday, me and Paulo, we did a similar version of what we did here for the Brazilian audience between Brazilian YouTubers, and we were talking about M2 and how some companies just do like what's the name of that? Those guys that everybody hates, CG Connection.
CG Connection.
They just like rub, and I figure out there are fanboys of CG Connection because I pissed off some people when I say bad things about them. But anyway, I think this is the proof that anyone can have fanboys. So, I think M2 is changing the game a little bit because, like, now it's not just a matter of, because like a couple of years ago, the companies used to re-release games ignoring the fact that people know emulation.
Yeah.
And trust me, you Brazilian audience, you know what I'm talking about. We don't pay for this. We go for the emulator and that's it. But when someone goes and someone do what M2 is doing, it's a different stuff. Like it's a new product. They are expanding the formula. They are increasing the experience somehow. They are improving the way you play. They are offering you so much that, like, for me, is a no-brainer. Like I'm totally sold. So I guess they are starting to push other companies to do the same, which is amazing.
I
hope they push.
See that with Capcom actually, because with the Capcom Studio Arcade 1000 Collection 100 million, they have the Pro Gear, and Capcom collections up until recently have always been crappy as far as like the emulation, the stuff they have to offer. But you could tell that they're looking at M2 like save states with little pictures, and like we're trying to cut down the lag a little bit. Like, you can see it's bleeding over to other people. We're now getting Pro Gear from Capcom. That's a pretty cool port. It's not as M2 quality, but it's definitely a step above what you would expect. So
yeah, let's hope
bleeding over.
And let's hope someone from Sega sees M2 ports and fucking releases Spike Out properly, because they're gonna re-release Spike Out, but as part of the new Yakuza game in the arcade in the game. And so I gotta like pay the Yakuza tax, just to play, just to get a modern port of Spike Out.
I had to do it for Virtua Fighter. You got to do it for Spike Out.
And there's no way it's gonna have anything, no practice modes, nothing, just the game. So that's awesome. Thanks, Sega. Thanks a lot.
Funny, but here's the funny thing is those are released on PC, and like the PC boys with the Virtua Fighter, they're like, nah, let's just add all the stuff back in. So there's like a patch to add stuff in.
Nice.
The PC boys could come to your rescue and like add stuff in there.
I can only hope, yeah. But the Virtua Fighter is a lot more popular than Spike Out, so I don't think that's gonna happen.
Okay, so we're back from the break, and so the next topic is the most disappointing release of the year. Of course, you're free to rant about everything, but pick one. I know we have a lot to complain about, but just pick one that you don't like, and that's it.
Well, mine is easy, Mike, because it's not even really a game. I'm going to call it my biggest disappointment for the year is the fact that I didn't get to play enough games. That I have such a long list of games that I want to do videos on and play and like get a chance to get into, and I just haven't been able to. So I'm mostly disappointed in myself, or not in myself, but just the inability or the lack of time to play a lot of good games that I missed out on. That's my disappointment for 23.
But you're busy doing other stuff related to the game. So yeah.
It's almost as good as playing them, stressing out, just working a lot. It's almost as good as playing a nice shmup, dude. Don't worry about it.
I feel that. I feel you there, because I'm kind of the same way too, where this year I wanted to like grind way more than I ended up doing, but I discovered a new grind. It's called video editing, and apparently editing videos takes a long freaking time. So
You're telling me I only released 6 or 7 all of 2023. Literally, I went back and looked. I'm like, I literally only made 6 videos, 6, 7 videos all year.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. It's
becoming a little bit. I'm like a Shmup junkie junior now, where I'm not as like on it with the video editing, but I'm doing enough now to where I can be like, oh, I know why Shmup junkie bangs his head against the wall editing videos now. I get it.
So, no, it's stressful. Very
I
stressful.
edit some videos and I'm like, oh, get me back to game development, dear God.
Because when you're grinding a shmup, like for example, I'm grinding Gunvein Expert, not a plug for Gunvein Expert Bog, but I'm grinding that, and I'm just having a good old time. Yes, it's kicking my ass in certain parts, but it's like you can just play the game, think about things. You can call Discord, Bog on Discord, and be like, "What the hell? What's going on?" and all this. But like, you can't do anything when you're video editing. You can't even think. All you have to do is like cut, delete, cut, delete. Oh, here, let's pan. And you have to like really pay attention. You can't do anything else. Oh yeah,
I need an AI to do that for us.
Yeah, I'm having the same problem, and the only way I managed to balance things a little bit was to not release videos every week. But like whenever I don't have a video ready, I just play online. I just stream whatever I'm playing. And this is a good balance. Like you don't edit, of course. When I stream, I don't put subtitles so people don't know what I'm talking. People not from outside Brazil have no idea what I'm talking about. But I translate when someone comes and talk to me in English. But it's the only way. Like I cannot treat this as my day job. So yeah, there's no way I could put more energy on it.
Bog, what's your most disappointing release this year?
I think it's gonna be Armored Core 6. I got it.
Wow.
It's just
you're going to pick
what's wrong with you guys
now. Oh yeah, immediately I'm coming in with the hot take.
I got your back here.
It just looked so good in the preview. Just like the perfect game for me. I was like, oh shit, they're balancing like ranged weapons with melee. I'm gonna have like this because From Software are usually really good about like making very tight combat systems that are very heavily focused around like frame data, very, very little canceling. I'm like, okay, take this, put add a mech into it, just add a more modernized, fucking Z targeting system, and have like a really awesome like range plus melee game. But no, when I played it, just the stages were really boring. There was nothing going on in the stages. All the enemies were really easy. All the like the environments, you could just like cruise past the stages, and then the bosses are very funneled towards like the whole stamina breaking mechanic. It's so weird because the fucking you would think like, okay, so you have a weapon that does a lot of damage, and you have a weapon that stamina breaks really easily. And you're like, okay, that should be like a balance that you pick between. Yeah. Then you play the game, and the weapons that do a lot of damage also break the fucking stamina immediately. They're just depleted. And like the game is very funneled towards that play style. It rewards too much circle strafing, and the melee mechanics are kind of, I don't know.
And to add to that, Bug, when I did my hot takes video, one guy was going ham in the comments being like, the PvP in this game broke my heart. And I was like, well, I don't play PvP, but I can understand that too. So even the PvP guys are like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a bad game. Like it's not a bad game at all. It's just I thought they would nail it. I thought this finally an Armored Core game for me specifically, because everyone, like a lot of Armored Core fans that are on Discord, I was like listening to them talk about, and they're like angry, just yelling at the screen. Oh my god, they're bringing Dark Souls lock-on into the game. They're like looking at the fact that it plays more like a kind of fast-paced action game, and they're like seething. And I'm like looking at these videos, I'm like, this is the best shit ever. What the fuck? They'll show you like the coolest looking thing and be like, this is garbage. But yeah, once it came out, it kind of like deflated for me a lot, and I didn't really feel much like continuing.
Yeah, but what's funny is I learned in my Armored Core 6 review, like that same fan base also hates Armored Core 5, which was more like, okay, let's make it a little bit more actiony, fast-paced, and that poor game just got plowed. But I think I can.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like, I finished the first like loop type of thing, because it's meant to be you're meant to replay it, and I messed around with rankings a little bit, and then just kind of lost interest. So it's one of those games that I really had high hopes for. Like the first game in probably like a few years that I was actually excited for.
You were excited.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, yeah, and it's just deflated. Not like I don't hate it. It was kind of like a decent time, but not very exciting.
But isn't it for me? It's like almost more painful when a game you really want to be good is just kind of like,
yeah,
it's all right, you know? It's almost like more cathartic when it just sucks.
Yeah, that's like a big explosion. Then I could go online and just like rant, post like Bible length fucking essays on how bad it is. But Armored Core's fine. It's not bad. It's like just
Well, what you're describing is exactly my impression of Ikaruga, for example. I wanted the game to be so much bad. It's not bad, but like it doesn't break this barrier, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm more into Radiant Silvergun than Ikaruga, so maybe you should give that a proper try. I don't know.
I know I prefer Radiant Silvergun too.
I've gone full circle with Ikaruga. I hated the game, and then I respected the game, and now I kind of like sort of like it a game, and then I'm like getting to the level 3 hipster now, where level 1 hipster you hate Ikaruga because everyone talks about Ikaruga. Level 2 hipster is like you kind of respect Ikaruga, and then level 3 hipster is now you defend Ikaruga from level 1 hipsters. You say and then we get level 5 hipster where Bam says shmups are stupid and whatever. So
yeah, that's like next level.
I'm not caught up with Bam yet, but I'm getting there.
I watched someone like Maz play Ikaruga and feel inadequate in the process.
Yeah.
That man just plays Ikaruga.
Yeah, that's the real reason everyone hates Ikaruga.
Just imagine you stopped editing videos, Junkie, and you just every time you go to edit a video, you play Ikaruga.
Yeah.
Well, my biggest disappointing of the year is Diablo 4.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah,
Did you have high expectations for it?
No, let me explain you one thing. My wife loves. No. So my wife loves Diablo. It's a game she really likes. We played a lot of Diablo 3 back in the day. It's a fun game to shut down your brain and just like move around and
right.
shot things and not in a shmup way, but like
your Muso.
Yeah, it's fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
A friend of mine say it's a nice interactive wallpaper that you play and you don't care what's going on there, and there's no permadeath. You never die for real, and if you do die, you don't lose anything important. So, but I had big expectations about Diablo 4 because, like, come on, it's Blizzard. They have a shitload of money. They have some of the best talents in the video game industry nowadays.
I don't think they do, right? Isn't that the thing?
No,
they have.
They
anyway,
did once upon a time.
Yeah, but anyway, they are one of the big names of the gaming industry nowadays. So why not put some effort and do a nice game, right? But no. My wife's opinion about it is definitely my opinion about it is how come this game be worse than Diablo 3? Which is like 10 years or 12 years older. But anyway, it's beautiful. You do more things. There's more to do in the game than Diablo 3, but it's just boring. It's not
you just described every single Diablo game for me.
That's true, to be honest.
I like Diablo 1 and 2. I'll say that.
I remember playing the originals, and that was so long ago, different expectations. But like the original Diablo was freaking balls hard.
Diablo 1 and 2 are horribly hard. Diablo 3 is very easy, but it's it's easy and it's not challenge at all, but it's a nice ride. Like you spend some hours playing it, you change a class, you play it again, it's fine. Diablo 4 is nothing. So it's like it sounds like a waste of time and energy. So no.
Okay, I'm jumping on this because I'm like an old school broken-hearted Blizzard fan, because when Blizzard, I had a Windows 98 that could not play anything, but it could play StarCraft, it could play Brood War, it could play Diablo and Diablo 2, and I just loved those games. I was a big Blizzard fanboy, and then Warcraft 3 came out and just shattered my heart. And from then on, it's just been... But yeah, I do love the original Diablo 1 and 2, and StarCraft, Brood War.
I used to love Diablo 2 when I was a kid. I played a lot, and just at some point it like hit me. I'm not having fun most of the time. Like I'm having fun in some specific parts, like the boss fights, or when the shiny piece of loot drops, or something like that. But like moment to moment gameplay, I'm just like not enjoying it at all. like I'm not engaged, and then I was like, okay, the whole illusion shattered for me. I haven't been able to really enjoy those kinds of games.
Yeah, I think what helped me as a kid, and I was probably wrong, is I remember playing Diablo 1 and 2 for a long time, and then realizing I don't think these games end. I was like, I don't think they actually end.
They do end, but
I kind of just, I was like, okay, I guess I'm done because
the TOA plan of action RPGs, dude.
Yeah, it's like I don't think these actually end at any point.
It's like playing Flying Shark and being like, am I on loop 2, or is this just the level 5 or something? You know?
Oh yeah, if you play Diablo 2, this feeling is very, very legit. Like it's actually, if you like Diablo 2, they re-released this game a couple of years ago, and it has the Diablo 3 mechanics implemented, so it's quite good, much better.
Okay. Looks like this is Mark's disappointment.
Okay, my next disappointment, besides being disappointed as junkie in not being able to play as much as I'd love to play, and besides CD Connection outdoing themselves with Batsugun, my biggest disappointment is actually a game that I was expecting, and I kind of fell flat on expectations, was Devil Engine. Because I like to play on consoles and I prefer to buy physical copies. So I was waiting all along for the day it would be finally released, either for the Switch or some PlayStation. And I got it for the PlayStation 5 and didn't like that as half as I thought as I would, because it's a glorified Euro shmup with punishing mechanics that is a lot hard for the wrong reasons. So I can understand that why I suck on DOJ, but I simply say, okay, the game is just doing too much to try to kill you every single moment on Devil Engine. So it felt that it's a game that was not polished enough to be challenging and be rewarding at the same time. So yes, it is challenging, but it's really, really hard to get into. So I bought the game, played it, and said, okay, next time. So that would be my disappointment for the year.
Yeah, Devil
I'm
Engine
sure if
is rough.
anyone loved the Devil Engine, feel free to trash talk me right now.
No, I wasn't too into it. The music is amazing. The visuals
the music is great. I give that.
Yeah, the visuals are pretty nice, but yeah, I wasn't really digging the gameplay. It felt too like
really into it either, to be honest.
You weren't into it?
No, not Devil Engine. No, that's why I don't really have a lot of coverage of it or anything. Besides it being Drama Engine, but outside of that,
well, that's like the most that steals the spotlight.
yeah.
Philippe, how about you?
I already said Diablo.
Yeah.
Well, my disappointment of the year.
Prepare for an hour-long lecture.
Ouch.
No, I'm gonna.
No. Remember that we have to finish this streaming at some point because people have other things to do. But anyway, go for it. Go for it.
No.
So I'm gonna subvert expectations here because if you want to hear me rail about all the games I want to rail about, I have that whole video, top 5 flips and flops. And so I'm gonna go with something I kind of, after I did that video, I was like, oh, I probably should have mentioned this one, which was Touhou 19, because I was kind of a little excited. Okay, what's Zun up to next? And I don't think it turned out super well. It's not a good Touhou game when you watch the Jamers replay and he's smack talking the game in the description. You're like, oh, if Jamers is smack talking a Touhou game, it's in trouble. So I think because I was excited to play the new Touhou and like, oh, this would be fresh stuff to cover. The Touhou fans want me to cover some Touhou stuff, and I was like, eh. So I'm gonna go with Touhou 19. I think that just didn't work out.
Yeah, I feel like Jamers has been getting progressively more hostile towards Touhou games.
It's so funny. It's so funny to watch to read his, because how mild-mannered Jamers is.
Yeah, and then Touhou, which is
at the mouth ever. But these Touhou games are shattering his heart.
he's like, I've been watching like his uploads, and just every time a new Touhou drops, he gets more and more bitter and hostile towards this. It's just like the descent.
Yeah. So I'm gonna subvert expectations, and that's not my biggest disappointment, but it's one I haven't talked about. So I'll go with Touhou 19.
All right.
Cool.
Okay, who's missing? I think we cover everyone.
We got him.
Okay, for the next topic, non-shmups that you played most in 2023.
that's easy on my part because I didn't have much time. So there's not too many extra non-Shmups I played, but there's one that I played through, which with my wife in co-op, totally unrelated, which was Baldur's Gate 3 that everyone and their mother that has played.
Game of the year.
Yeah. And the reason I liked it so much was because it was a great co-op experience. You know, I've played through like Divinity Original Sin, like 1 and 2 with my son online. And, you know, like I'm a big, like, I'm a sap for like D&D because I used to play it as a kid and I still play it now that I'm older, like with my son in some groups sometimes and stuff.
So a D&D family, huh?
Yeah. So
same.
So
here.
it was just a lot of fun, like spending maybe because I don't have a lot of free time. So in the evening, it was like, okay, we're gonna play for a couple hours. So every evening for a couple hours, we played Baldur's Gate 3, and I mean, obviously, it's labor of love, awesome game. You know, it was really enjoyable going through it, and then the strategy of it. It wasn't perfect. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because it's super duper buggy. At least the console version was. We had all kinds of problems playing co-op with like crashes and, you know, this not working, that not working, slow down.
That's
like
it's a great RPG, dude.
It was a bit of a mess, but despite all that, like none of it mattered just because it was like
all of these games are like that. All the great ones, Fallout 2, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, like
wasn't that Skyrim famous for that too?
Yeah, every great RPG that goes down in the history is a buggy mess on release. That's just like that's just a tradition.
But you know, I mean, I knew what to expect because I'd already played their like other games with Divinity and everything else. So without getting into what the game is like, because everybody already knows what the game is like, that's my game. Non-Shmups this year is just playing through that co-op with my wife was a lot of fun.
You know, I'm gonna subvert expectations a little bit because I talked about I made a video about it on my channel, but you know, probably a lot of people probably didn't tune in for that one, which was Virtua Fighter 5. That game captured my heart this year. This year in my mind, you know, it's Resi 5 Mercs and Virtua Fighter 5. It's the year of 5. And God, that game, I love that game so much. And I'm still playing it on my Steam Deck. I mean, it's one of those games where I'm just like, is there any way I can make another video about this? Is there any possible way? There's gotta be a way. You know?
It's gonna be like your ad transition, you know. And by the way, you know what else? You know what else has frame data?
You see, you should do a short saying that.
Oh my God, I just love that game so much, and it's like everything I want in a fighting game in the best ways. So Virtua Fighter 5 for me, I'm still playing it. I was playing it yesterday on my Steam Deck. That game is my personal off content game of the year.
Yeah, for me, it would be Soul Hackers 2. So it's a Shin Megami Tensei spin-off, so just like Persona, but not as stylish or as sleek as Persona, but still very fun to play.
What is it called?
That's my pick for 2023 as Non-Shmup. I'm still playing it because I didn't have all the time I wanted to play. Hopefully, I'll be able to beat it this year. Otherwise, I'll be playing that.
Soul Hackers 2.
Soul Hackers 2.
Soul Hackers?
So, Soul Hackers 2, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, SMT game. Yeah, I've been playing Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection the most. I got a no death. Yeah, Mark has seen the streams. I got a no death run of the first loop, and I'm just like, I want to play it more, but I don't know what to go for. Because if I go for the 2 loop clear of no death, I'm gonna go insane. The game will break me completely. I cannot do that, but then I don't know exactly what to do. So it's like it's just such an amazing game. It's like just everything I want in a platform, just like chaotic. A lot of RNG, but it's handled really, really well. Just like very, very difficult, very dynamic, very like the level design is really clever. It has a really interesting use of slopes, like the way the enemies attack. It's just fantastic. Like every run feels pretty different. There's a lot of hilarious situations happening. Like Mark was enjoying me just bashing my head against the wall of the final boss every stream. I would have like a great run, then I get to him and just spend like an hour retrying just every time until I get yeah, just an amazing game.
Well,
that was your game of the year, easy. You were all about Ghosts and Goblins.
Well, that was 2020 game of the year, but yeah.
I mean, for you personally, you were all about that this year.
Yeah.
Well, for my pick was Vampire Survivors.
Damn.
So the bullet heaven games.
I'm kidding.
And Enter the Gungeon.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually quite played it a lot. Like I had to commute some days, and I ended up playing that thing I end up dedicating an unhealthy amount of time to do all the unlockables on it, but like it's pretty shallow game. But anyway, it's fun, just very shallow. But the other game I played a lot is Armored Core 6, and I don't have the same opinion of you guys, but for the different reasons. I quite like the game.
A lot of people do. I think Zarok is still playing it every time.
No, it's
on Discord. That man is playing.
I don't know.
It's like, yeah.
I've been playing this game since Armored Core 1, so for me, they just repeated the formula. So
right.
I didn't see anything too different apart from the graphics and the
What about the camera system? It's like a totally different camera system.
Yeah, the camera system improved a lot, and I see a lot of course, now they are using massive bosses. Like whenever they want to do like a massive boss, they do like a massive boss, like in their way. Like they use a boss that takes like a kilometer in diameter to reach the other side. So I quite like it. And because I'm developing a game based on mechs, I need all the inspiration, and this game has helping me a lot.
Audio visually, Armored Core 6 is incredible. Like the what is it called? The coral, the coral VFX and all that stuff. The coral monster, well, not monsters, but everything feels like a monster from software games nowadays.
Yeah.
The coral mech you fight is so cool. Just a lot of cool stuff that audio visual.
Yeah, the story itself is
team are insane.
The story itself is not good. Like it's just a poorly written script, but nobody cares about that. But I quite like it. I spent a lot of time playing it. But yes, that's it.
Well, yeah, and I think for people who play it, like Zarok, it's like a virtual on, but with a player base.
Exactly. That's what I kind of. I feel like is Zarok playing it because he kind of has to.
I think so. I think because he's into mech. Yeah, because he's into mech multiplayer games.
And I haven't been seeing him play Virtuon since Armored Core 6 came out. It's like me with Tekken 8, where I love Virtua Fighter 5, but I'm probably going to have to play some Tekken 8 because it has a player base, kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we covered everyone?
I think so.
I think so. Okay, so for the last topic, the most expecting or most promising releases of 2024. This is going to be a long list, so I'll give you guys some time.
Before we start, so I don't feel like an idiot, is there something like really obviously amazing that isn't occurring to me? Well, I have like some things that I'm like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool, but I can't think of anything like, holy shit, 2024 is the year.
Well, I can start.
Dude.
I can start. There's plenty of stuff. I recommend you checking out the drops videos I do every month, but there's lots of stuff in there. But my one pick is Alessi Branch.
Oh wait, is it coming out?
Who's not picking that one up?
Yeah, but that game looks awesome. But is it actually going to come out next year? That's the question.
According to the news, I don't have they didn't confirm this information. So according to the news, they are already sending copies to people to play test it. And so I believe the game is probably technically ready. They just like.
Well, is that the arcade one? That's been arcade exclusive?
No, that's the last.
The 3D one, Mark.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, guys, I think the programmer for Alesta Branch is I forget his name off the top of my head, but he was like he's a renowned like Battle Garega expert, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he knows his
shit.
Yeah.
He's the main developer on that. So he's not originally a programmer, so I didn't know how that was going to work, but the main programmer that they put on that is they said he's I don't know if he has like the highest score ever or one of the top, but he's a Garega super player.
Kamui has the highest score, I think, right?
Well, if you're playing Garega, programming is just going to be natural.
Yeah.
So the person behind it, or at least behind some of the development, definitely knows this shmups.
Yeah,
it looks awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
If I had to put my money on something, it would be on Alessi Branch, definitely.
Yeah, if it's coming out next year, that's probably my top.
We'll see. One. Yeah, it's M2 is notorious for that. They'll take as long as they want to take, and they're not going to rush it out. So
yeah.
No, if they do
trailers from 2 years ago, I'm just looking.
Yeah. No, you have to go to them 2 streams. They do like very long streams, and they.
Yeah, you have to find the gameplay in the stream. You won't find it as a separate video.
That's Shmup marketing. That's like you have to hunt down the advertisements. Like,
that's why I do the drops. You find everything there.
You got it. We got to be tuning in for those drops, because I watched one of those M2 streams a few years ago, and I was like, all right, if they take any longer, I'm going to start roasting the stream. It started as like me reacting to the stream, being excited. And by the end, I'm like, okay, if they take any more time, I'm going to start roasting them at this point.
That's why I watch for you, and then I edit the video, and I show the relevant part for you. That's what I do.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Because you believe me, it's boring to see a guy dressed as a Christmas tree every streaming, saying things in Japanese. You have no idea what they're talking about. So, yeah.
Are there any other good shmups coming up?
I don't care about the others, honestly.
He's putting it all on it. He's putting it all in less than
there's a Lassie branch. Do you know?
Well, there's definitely more. Like, I don't know if Earthion's going to come out next year or not. It's probably way out in development, so it could be a while. But as far as Mega Drive style shmups go, a lot of people are excited for that one.
Right. There's also Angel at Dusk.
Oh yeah, that looks great. I played the demo. That was really cool.
Yeah, Angel. What is the guy's name? Akira
Goya.
Yeah. And there's
he does like kind
of
of
horror type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like horror porn.
Yeah, because he did was it Steel Vampire, right? Am I saying yeah.
Yeah, and also before that he did like more explicit, dare I say, horror shmups.
Oh yeah, I had an old video called Weird Shmups, and his it's like the name escapes me right now. Galshell too.
Yeah.
He's the author of Death Ephemera, the game that everybody knows that exists for the X68000, but nobody has a copy.
Nobody can actually play.
Yeah.
Well,
not even
around. Maybe you can literally DM the guy and ask him for a copy.
I did.
Somebody did, and he doesn't want to give it out.
I did. There's a fun story about that. I messaged first Akira Goya himself, and I tried to talk to him, and he just said, I don't want this game. I had to translate from Japanese to English because he didn't want to speak English to me. But he said, I don't want this game in other people's hands.
Damn.
Oh, because they think we're a bunch of pirates. Remember the West?
No, I think he. I asked why. He said, I don't like it, and that's it.
Classic artist.
It was a game that he developed on his own for like fun. Like it was a project for like a school project that was so long ago. Like it's so many games ago that he probably just is like.
This is why.
Like, why do people want to play it?
Yeah, but this is why you don't give artists the freedom to remove their own stuff. You got to strip it from them because they will do that. I would do that for some stuff as well.
But anyway,
this is like peak shmup culture, which is like this whole thing of secrecy. Oh, shh. Oh, it's a forbidden game. It's a secret game.
Lost media.
Lost media. It's so special, and it's forbidden. And because I don't want people to play a game I made when I was in college, I
just feel it's a shame because someday hard drives die. Disk rot happens.
He's wiping it from existence. He's like, no.
Yeah, and then nobody will play for good. So.
Well, maybe the developer will like get old, kind of chill out, and be like, "Oh, this is a pretty fun time back in the day."
Well, someone who programmed the X68000 back in the day is already old.
Yeah,
that is true. Okay,
there's no we're old. We're classics.
Yeah, the game's over.
Maybe we should start. Maybe we should reverse it and say, you know what? It's better off gone. We don't even want
it. Yeah, there we go. The developer's like, hey, wait a second.
Like reverse psychology.
Yeah, the developer's like,
We don't like that kind of thing. It's lame.
True.
It's better off.
No, we should say, you should say, you know what? We have a team of people reverse engineering the footage we saw on YouTube, and we're rebuilding the game around, making it better than yours. And see how
about the new Contra game, guys?
That's what that was actually going to be my pick. So what I was going to say is my pick for, unless you're going to pick it too, which is Iron Meat. If that's what you're talking about, or are you talking about you're talking about the actual new Contra game? You're talking about
literal,
Contra.
Operation Galuda.
Never mind.
Whatever. Yeah, okay. No, I'm just listing off a few things. I think the number one for me is the Final Fight remake, because that's like that's going to be either horrible or great or anything. I don't care whatever it's going to be. It's going to be really interesting. I'm so curious.
You either want a good game or a train wreck. Is what?
Yeah, I don't even care. I'm just so fucking curious about what they'll do with it. Like I don't care how it turns out. I don't care what direction they're going to go in. The only thing that's going to be annoying if it's like if it's kind of okay, but in a way that I don't like, and people will be like, "Oh, this is so much better than the original Final Fight," I'll have to fight them in the comments or some shit. Like,
is this real? I'm looking at graphics of this. This looks
there's
like
no graphics. There's no graphic. It was part of the leaks that have turned out to be true so far. So we don't know anything about it. That's what makes it so exciting.
Okay. So
if they released,
okay.
Yeah, if they released footage, I'd probably be like, whatever. But now it's like a hidden, forbidden treasure.
But well, if they have all the assets, they just produced all the assets for Street Fighter 6. That is gonna be like, if they want to do like a Final Fight game, I guess it's gonna be very easy.
But then if they go the Street Fighter 6 route, they're gonna just like remake Final Fight Streetwise essentially.
Yeah.
I wonder how it will be received nowadays, because I feel like nowadays people will receive it better somehow. Yeah.
I see a new trend: for new Final Fight Streetwise and new Streets of Rage 3D.
Yeah. Yeah, the other stuff is like, of course, the Spike Out release. Rise of the Ronin is going to be interesting because that's by Team Ninja. It's gonna.
What is Rise of the Ronin?
Rise of the Ronin looks amazing. Looks amazing.
New game by Team Ninja, dude. How do you not know?
I told you there's probably some obvious thing I didn't even think about.
Yeah, well, you didn't even know apparently that it exists. Yeah,
samurai game, amazing one.
Though I did see parries, so I don't know. I don't know if
they're all about the parries now. Yeah.
God damn it, Team Ninja! I beg you, get those parries out of your game. Then besides that, Stalker 2. Is anyone here interested in Stalker 2? Not a single one, right?
No. Well, we're not from.
Eastern Europe. You need to be in Eastern Europe too, or like
Stalker.
Stalker,
Stalker,
Stalker
Oh, yeah, it's a nice game.
You got to be a Slavic person to truly be excited.
I'm not Slavic, but I love post-apocalyptic games. I like Stalker.
Brazil and Eastern Europe are very similar in all.
It's about the same thing.
Yeah, because I believe the Blazing Chrome developer is either like I don't know. I think his family was Russian, moved to Brazil, and he visited, and he was like, "Oh, it's basically,
Yeah. We are we are the Gopniks from the Southern Hemisphere."
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. So Dragon's Dogma 2. How about that one?
Actually, I have another one, another thing, not exactly a game that I'm expecting a lot from 2024, which is the Fallout series.
Oh, the TV series, yeah. That's gonna be interesting. I'm not sure if it's gonna be good, but it should be.
It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, there's Dune 2 if we're doing movies. I've been waiting all year for that shit. Dune 2.
Yeah, Dune 2.
Oh yeah.
New Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines?
Not sure.
Okay, no one. Okay.
What's that one game? I'll go to my pick that I can just come off the top of my head. I don't even know if it's coming out next year. The Metal Slug thing.
Blackfinger Jet.
This looks good. This one looks good.
I don't know if it'll be good or not, but I'm gonna definitely cover it one way or another.
There are the original games, like Junkie mentioned, like the original Metal Slug guys are participating on this.
Yeah, but you never know till it's in your hands,
Yeah, but how many of them, right?
Yeah.
And who made Metal Slug? That's the question. Because oftentimes, it's like a mix, like Itagaki from Team Ninja plus the Team Ninja guys. Neither one of them could make Ninja Gaiden by themselves. You need that mix, Then, does anyone know Victory Heat Rally?
That sounds like a racing game.
That is a racing game. It's a really fun-looking racing game. There's a demo, and I'm really looking forward to that. Damn, no one cares about no one cares about the ones I brought up. So what are you guys looking forward to?
I know Stalker.
Honestly,
the
besides
one game Alesta branch, because I'm running Alest behind there, so so Philip knows me more than enough. That would be my top pick. But other than that, I'm waiting for ReFantasio, which is the next game from the Persona director, and of course Hades 2, which is it's a hack and slash game that tries too hard to be a twin stick shmup. So I think Philip played Hades, so Hades 2 is going to be about the same. So great game.
Good.
Yep. I think I'm waiting for what I mentioned earlier, which is because I know it's coming out next year, is Iron Meat. And I already showed that in my video on like upcoming games. It's like I already played a full build of the game, and that was a long time ago, and from start to finish all the way to the end. And who knows how much more like great content he's added into it since I played it back then. But it was already awesome back then, and like and not even finished.
Yeah, I played the demo.
Yeah, it's like the demo was cool, but like once I got the full game in my hands and I got to play through like all several levels, like it's just consistent. It gets better and better like the further you get into it. And so I already know it's going to be good, and I'm already looking forward to it. And it's just that perfect speedrunning game. It feels exactly like a Contra game, and it has that pacing. If you like the older 8-bit and 16-bit games where when you run it a certain way, as long as you keep the pace with the movement of all the enemies, like you can just keep running through the game.
You turn it into a shmup.
Yeah, well, like kind of like, I mean, even like Castlevania, like the original Castlevania, like you can run through levels if you like keep a certain momentum and a certain pace, so it's pure Contra, like it's pure Contra speedrunning. It's like I couldn't stop replaying it because of that, because it's just fun. Like it feels right, everything about it is right, and I think when people get their hands on it, like the full game, they'll like, wow, this is like the Contra I didn't know I needed, but I need it. So that's what I'm looking forward to, because I already know what to expect, and I know it's going to be good.
I'm looking forward to Slave X Zero. I don't know if it'll be like quality wise. It looks interesting though, so I'm gonna definitely check that one out.
Oh yeah,
I think it comes out next year. I'm assuming.
I'm also looking for the remake of Shadow of the Ninja, because
that's a big one.
This is just like has so much there that I like that I can't even start.
Shadow of the Ninja remake?
Yeah, by the Ninja Warriors once again. It's by Natsume.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
They developed that everyone played the games, nobody remembered the name of the deck.
Yeah. And it's a remake it's a pretty substantial remake of a NES game.
Yeah.
I played the NES game when I was a kid. It was like a Ninja Gaiden style game. But this is like they're adding a ton. That
looks awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, the NES game was good too. It wasn't exactly like Ninja Gaiden. It was their own game, but it was a good game.
Yeah, now they're just expanding with like items and all that stuff. Just like you carry over items. It seems like a Capcom D&D type of element. It's just a lot of new elements.
And they added a lot of stuff to the game. If you watch the trailer, you notice there are more commands. Your character do more stuff, way more than the NES. Like the same thing they did with the Ninja Warriors.
Yeah, I hope they.
Look how good these graphics look. Like we're talking about Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. Like,
time to bully the GNGR.
If they went a direction like this, I have to
say I agree with you. The bitmap art in this game is amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I mean Natsume is just knocking it out with like every single re-release. So
it's a shame they don't have a shmup, right?
Don't Natsume have shmups? I think
they have.
Don't think so.
Omega 5 is by Natsume.
Yeah. Okay. Let me rephrase. A good one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if they would be really good at making shmups. I think they're better at that, like a run and gun beat 'em up type of stuff, which is more like discreet. Like the encounters are a lot more discreet and simpler instead of shmups where it's like everything's overlapping all the time. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, if you consider what they did to Poké Rocky and Ninja Warriors, this game's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and just the amount of moves. You can like bounce off enemies with your sword. There's like a ton of situational items. It looks fucking awesome.
I'm really glad that they're updating away from the 8-bit art.
Yeah.
That's cool style. 8-bit, it's a little played out for me.
Guys, those are the topics I had for today. But of course, like if there's anything else you want to put on the table and discuss, like feel free. If there's something else you want to mention or to bring to our attention, just make yourself at home. Feel free.
Let's see.
I think There's another shmup that's for Compile Hurt and M2, if I'm not
M2.
wrong.
Yeah.
That we know nothing about, that I'm curious about. Not too curious, but definitely curious.
Oh, that's on the Neptunian universe.
Oh. not sure what to think about it. Never played Neptunian, but
isn't yeah, that's like like all the consoles or like video game companies or anime girls.
That's Neptunian in a nutshell.
Okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that either, but we'll see.
There's the new game from Treasure, which I also have no idea what they're
no one mentioned. Well, is there a new one? They kind of alluded to it, right? There's going to be something, but they didn't quite make it clear.
There's Ubusana, which I guess is on with M2 now, which we have an awesome soundtrack, but that's all.
M2 are just cooking something in underground, deep in their secret lair, and they're not going to release it quite yet.
Yeah, and we have the Macross game that they managed to do a trailer with a 4-minute trailer and show like 2 seconds of gameplay. So yeah, I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, then there's that what is it called? The one where you play as like a mech, like a remake type of game that looks like a Unreal Engine game. What was it called?
There's another game that's from two guys from Compile, which is called something is Chiki, which is a shouju. I don't know. Paulo, help me. The game we talked yesterday about. It's a Famicom game that they just showed up from two guys from Compile, former Compile, and it's an NES
Over
game.
Object?
No, it's not Over Object. It's another game.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it either.
It's an awesome game for the Famicom, but it's one of those games.
The footage looked really impressive for what I saw. Wasn't there some early footage? I was like, wow, that's really pretty impressive for a Famicom game.
We have Zealand Force, which looks like a NES game, but is not a NES game.
A lot of NES games lately.
I was telling you the last podcast I covered. There were just NES games galore.
It's like it's bouncing back. You know, NES games were everywhere. Then it's like they're flirting with the SNES, Genesis, now PS1, but also bouncing back at the same time to NES games and stuff.
I would say two hot topics in terms of shmups nowadays is NES aesthetics and rail shmups, rail shooters.
We need more rail shooters in our life. Am I right, Bob?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh boy,
I'm excited.
But well, guys, I think that's it. I know that some of you guys have appointments and have to meet people. I don't know. If you want, we can wrap it up.
Oh yeah.
What do you think?
I think I've spent myself.
I promise, Mark, we wouldn't pass 3 hours. We are 7 minutes away from this.
Yeah, Mark.
Yep.
I'm fine. I'm fine. We're still cool.
Yep. It's time for me to feed the dogs.
I'll just run off screen if I ever need to.
Well, the camera will cut out, then we'll cut it back in. He's already driving, like sweating.
Well, in this case, guys, let's wrap it up now.
Okay.
And well, I'd like to thank you again for joining this streaming. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, like it's starting to become a tradition. Like I really look forward for meet you guys and talk about how was your game in terms of not just shmups, but like video games and video. The same, you're basically on the same boat as me. So, and now even Bog Hog because I'm developing too. So,
yeah, we're gonna be like annual devlogging, you know, annual updates.
But yeah, thank you for joining, and well, I guess we see you in the next year again. I hope.
All right,
for sure.
That was really fun. See you later.
As always.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
I wish I had a wave version of this.